Hello everyone, we're the Casual Ones, and today we're going to be playing a game called Lordsworn. It's a GMless TTRPG that was funded on Kickstarter earlier this year. Joining us today is the creator of Lordsworn, Marren to help guide us through our first playthrough. Before we begin, I do want to say a special shout out to Nathaniel Joseph, Zed, and Eric Lejeune, who have also worked on bringing Lordsworn to life. Now, before we get into the game itself, Marren, if you'd like to walk us a little bit through more what Lordsworn is.
Yep, absolutely. So, Lordsworn is my 1 to 4 player GMless TTRPG about a group of soldiers returning from a war that will be called the Cataclysm that saw multiple gods die, the world's ending around them, and the only thing they have is each other to get through it, and the only place they know where to go is home. That's my cool little intro there, but it uses the Caltrop core system, which is a fantastic little one. Uses D4s, those underrated pyramids that you step on sometimes, and it's kind of neat. I kind of like it. We're gonna find out how good it is here, I guess.
Yeah, perfect. There's only one way to get through it, right? Exactly.
Right.
I didn't know it was called Caltrop core, and that just makes perfect sense.
Yeah, those little spiky bastards.
Yeah.
Right?
I would definitely shout out Caltrop core too, because it's such a cool little system to just have everything. As someone who's written now dozens of random tables, having them only be for 4 instead of 20, I am never going back to the 20 tables ever. I'm over it.
I've been spending the last few months writing D20 tables. I think I'm a fool.
You can just break those down into D4 tables. But that's all you need to do.
Or at least like D6 tables. I'm over
bring it right on down.
The D20s. I'm throwing them out.
Yeah.
Take that, 5e. I shouldn't say that.
No, listen, we're calling people out on this.
Yeah.
Wizards of the Coast, we're coming for you.
You hear us, Wizards? We're
It's
coming
big.
for you. Yeah.
I think I hear Pinkerton's upset, maybe? Oh.
So, I know we've done a little bit of discussing, just so that we knew which direction we were going to be heading. If you want to talk a little bit about the sort of, I guess, scenario that we've chosen, and then I guess we can start talking a little bit about the characters.
Yeah, like you said, we kind of slightly tweaked it. Normally you would just roll and have it all be random and let the gods decide what was going on, but we wanted to bring something a little spookier. So we went with a personal favorite of mine, Lotex the Eternal, who is the god / goddess. I realize they are one of my non-binary gods, so hey.
Very nice.
Just throwing myself in places. Of nature, the soul, death, and peace. So basically, Lordsworn, what we do is we play this over 4 separate phases of play. We're going to be entering into the first one, which is crafting the backdrop. We, as a group, have kind of already gone over things. We've set the tone. We're going for spooky. We've got our safety tool in place. We have our play materials, I hope, at this point. I think we all have cards and D4s. And good.
Traps. Yeah.
So we've skipped a little bit ahead of that, but we are going to go through kind of the first stage of things, which is crafting our backdrop. We cheated a bit. Not cheated. You could do this. Rules are fake. We chose the one that we thought was most interesting, and we ran with that instead. Typically, the rules say, roll a d4. This would determine which set of the pantheon you would worship, the Arete pantheon or the Megath pantheon. And then you would roll some 3d4s. That's a phrase you're going to hear me say a lot. I'm sorry. That's the system. Where we will be using the values from the separate d4s to kind of fill out random tables, switching the values where we like them, making a kind of conglomerated thing that we all enjoy, which we've kind of sort of already done for Lotex, I believe. Ray, if I'm remembering correctly, you had kind of the 3 that you really vibed with, and then we kind of all nodded our heads aggressively.
So if you want, I'll read through these here. So
yes.
First off, we determined what the god's motive for going to war was. This time we've decided on the D4 table that to desire peace is to know war, to be its people, its critique and peer. Lotex knew this well, and though it grieved them, they and their followers were not caught flat-footed. Peace has always known war far too well. The next part is to understand how our god's death affected the world. We chose number 2. Many have always feared spirits and the afterworld. Now, all do, as restless souls haunt the lands and dreams of the living, hollowing in screams lost, unable to make their way into Lotex's embrace anymore. So the dead are roaming the land.
Excellent. Kind of spooky, isn't it?
A little spooky, possibly a little ghosty. What mark the result of such proximity to your god now blesses your body? And again, we chose half your body has become skeletal bones enwreathed in a cold, spectral-like green flame that ever dances and flickers. So we're not fully human. We're not fully wraiths. We seem to be caught somewhere in between living and dead as we try to make our way home, which I think is the next thing we have to determine.
It is actually, yeah. So basically how the process goes, like you would define your god, you would kind of go through that, and then based on which god your collective company or your group of players had served determines which of the homes apply to you, what home you're going towards. And let's do this live. Let's do it random, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Yeah, let's go. Let's just go.
We'll start going in order
here.
for all the.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
2. Wester.
Okay.
Wester.
So I guess this is another thing, and it's a good learning point. You can actually roll all 3 at the same time.
Oh, should have done that.
Oh yeah, because we have 3d4.
You can kind of assign them as you do it.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Taking notes. I'll make it a little clear, but yeah, because it does help so that you can kind of choose what sounds the coolest to you.
Got it.
It's like a generation table.
Yeah.
So just read it all at once. I got you.
Hilariously, the other 2 numbers I rolled were both 4s. So
all right.
not a lot of mixing and matching I can do at this point, but that's okay. So
makes our lives easier.
Yeah. So we're from Wester. So what's unique about your home's geography? The first divide, a large fissure between 2 nearby land masses, slowly filling in from countless mudslides and avalanches. It is both a metaphor and a prayer for peace. Peace? What?
Okay.
And then
half, like we are.
Yeah.
We got half bones.
That's it.
We're also divided.
Yeah.
And then what was our home known for? It's the Stone of Reconciliation, a primordial stone turned altar on the spot where dozens of feuding clans put aside their differences and blood feuds to unite in peace.
Okay, so I've got an idea, because I know this is part where we work together to create ideas about our home. In my mind, that Stone of Reconciliation sits at the direct center of the Great Divide upon a giant plinth where generations of mudslides have slowly decreased the amount of space that you have to climb to get up to that plinth. And people, feuding clans and whatnot, meet there because they know that to start conflict here is to invite death upon themselves.
Yeah.
I like
that.
Yeah.
That's sick. Nah.
Cool.
Physical metaphor for reconciliation. That's pretty hard to come by in nature, but there we go.
Yeah. We get to have fun with making
great.
Geography interesting instead of
finally.
Here's where the provinces are connected. The plains are all squares.
But at least I know the capital of PEI.
It makes one of us. I forget it.
For sure, Charlottetown.
I thought it was
right.
Potatoville.
Sounds...
Okay.
Potato. I think that's offensive to say something.
It might be.
It's hotly debated between the much more bustling town of Potatoville.
Did you say hotly potated?
Oh no!
No one said that. I promise.
I now understand the needing the mute Ray button.
Yeah, the puns start coming and they don't stop coming.
Oh no! Oh no! Pour one out.
Nope. All right, perfect. So yeah, we've got our home of Wester.
Yeah.
Which is kind of fun little bit of background there. I like that. It also is kind of cool because it ties into that peace element for the motive for why Lotex went to war. Cool. All right.
I feel like one other thing that I would want to add almost is the town has a problem where too much starts falling in. You know how Florida is sinking? We're having that same problem, but as from a landslide point of view.
Oh, it's all going in towards the center.
Yeah.
Okay.
The town, people have to start building further and further away as new stuff gets put up.
Yeah.
It's just getting closer and
It's
closer.
falling into
Exactly,
that
yeah.
divide.
Like the idea that like generational homes are like, okay, we're within 6 feet of the divide. Pick up this half of the house and put it on
We
the
gotta
other end of the
go.
house. And
Amazing.
All right, where were we? We were doing game things.
Yes.
the Pantheon we did, I guess, in advance.
Yes.
Hello? Or okay.
So yeah, the we did the god we served, which was for low techs, where they're Lordsworns. They are dead. Oh yeah, by the way, the gods you serve, they're all dead. So
Oh yeah.
whichever ones you pick, dead.
Yeah.
Yay.
Hey.
Even a positive. The last thing we need to do is actually determine who our captain was, what was their ideal, before they too died. So
Oh.
Right.
Okay.
Nice.
we'll go down kind of the first phase of creating our company. It in the way that the design talk, you had me here, I'm sorry. The gods kind of define your like divine ideals and the way your culture would idealize itself. Your captain defines more of your martial or kind of human attributes of the things that you strive towards. So they kind of are a nice little flavor note before we get fully into designing our individual Lordsworns.
Cool.
All right.
So I got a 4, which will be from table 2. Okay.
Right.
So this is, and now I'll roll another d4 to choose which of our captains it was. 1. Okay, sick. So we have our
Okay.
captain was a fearsome leader who was driven by bloodlust and a tyrant on the battlefield. Those who follow are similarly ferocious fighters and battle-driven.
That sounds like a peace at any cost kind of captain.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. I like that.
get
Yeah.
a bit of a internal dissonance there of, yeah.
This is why we left. Everyone at home stayed back because they were like, no, peace is the option. And we're like, we'll fight for peace.
Or we're like, yes, it is, and we'll make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's violence.
Peace is the final option.
We will make it so.
All right.
That's really cool. Okay.
Yeah, that is definitely a weird contrast. So we'll play that out. But
Yeah, it's interesting.
so now that we've kind of picked from that group, I'll do the same thing. So I'm going to roll 3d4, and then assign one value to each of the tables below. And just like Bits here, I have 2 3s and a 4. So I don't have a whole lot of like flexibility and options
Moving
to
around,
show
yeah.
off that aspect of gameplay. So we've got well, I guess I could just list them off and we can pick which ones we think are cooler.
Yeah.
We've got a menacing boar as our symbol or a howling wolf. Our colors could be purple and silver or yellow and red. And our motto could be fear our name or strength and might.
We only have 1 4.
1 4. Yeah.
Dang,
Sorry.
I like-
That's our
I like a lot of the 4s for us
I
too.
know. I think we're gonna be purple and silver. Calling that now.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Hey, those are
nice
ghost
color
colors.
combo.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks good with green flames.
Purple and green.
Too.
Yeah.
Ooh, that
It's a good
contrast.
look.
Yeah.
Very
Color
Barney
theory.
vibes. I like it.
So
Yeah.
clearly, then, well, we can't have fear our name be the motto, then, right? It's got to be strength and might.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm stuck because I
Yeah.
think a wolf is very fitting to our vibe, but a boar kind of too. Boars are violent, but wolf is just more spooky.
Yeah.
No one's
You know-
ever been a boar on Halloween. I think.
Like, I'm sure somebody dressed up as Pumbaa for Halloween.
True.
That's a good point. Good
These are
point.
warthogs.
Yeah, I don't know.
Distant cousin.
Jokes on me.
Uma dresses up like a boar for Halloween.
That's true, yeah, he
Everyone-
does.
it's very lazy.
dresses up as a bunch of things. Well, I think if we go with a howling wolf, then I guess fear our name is
Yeah.
fine. You fear us in the name of peace. We
I mean, look at us,
yeah, true enough.
I like it.
We're,
Let's
we're
do
really
it.
having a hard time with that pizza notion right now, guys.
Yeah.
We're cut in half, like both spiritually and
Yeah.
physically. And
Yeah, we're
Representing
at
the
odds with
dichotomy
ourselves.
between peace and war. That's
Yeah.
all.
Right.
there's a
I'm sure there's a
Russian
book called that.
book about that.
Right now, just like someone should write a real
Exact
big book
same
about
joke.
that.
Yep.
So what do we have? So we have a fearsome leader. A howling wolf is our symbol. We're wearing purple and silver along
Yep.
with our green flames, and our motto is strength and fear
Your
our
name. Yeah.
Her name.
Okay. I wonder that
And
does
then
our
my
company
models.
have an additional name?
Load up fantasy name generator quick.
Right.
Quick. Band of the Hawk. No, something different.
It's gotta have company names, right? What? Come on. Someone email this website.
I think it might be like, are you wanting IKEA? Like fantasy IKEA?
True,
names
that's a
here?
good point.
That's-
Maybe mercenary.
I was gonna say mercenary.
I'm good with that.
The biggest
The
like.
Band of Solace.
It's
Oh,
not bad.
I kind
It's
of like
not
that.
bad.
Yeah.
And you know what? We also don't have to keep thinking about it.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Band of Solace.
Band
A
of
war band of
Solace.
Solace.
Done.
Nice.
I like it.
Perfect.
I love this idea of just because again, the fearsome captive is supposed to just be bloodthirsty and brutal, and then we're like, yeah, but for peace.
Yeah.
For peace, yeah.
Fear our name, because if we have to fight, you've done something wrong, other
Yeah.
people.
Oh,
You've done
yeah,
goofed.
okay.
Right.
Yeah.
We fucked up. Oh, we fucked up.
I have to imagine we're kind of like the Switzerland, where we're not participating in anything,
Mhm.
but the idea that our god chose to ride to war meant that
Yeah.
It's pretty
peace
spicy.
was no longer an option, so we had to
Ah.
bring it. Yeah.
And it's been
Okay, cool.
rotten.
It's
Let me
just
tell you.
Cataclysm just starting in the background. Ignore that. Patrick,
Yeah.
we saved the town.
Everything's
Oh.
fine, everybody.
Did we get half bone, half and fire before the battle ended, or is that like a result of the end?
That's something you get to interpret in how you interpret my weird
Oh,
words.
interesting.
Not that this is official because there's no canon, but the way I always interpreted it was that you seeing your god die and being a survivor of that cataclysmic event
Mhm.
kind of scarred you / marked you with the
Yeah.
last remnants of who they were.
Okay.
So it's almost like the sort of like death gasp of their magic.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
some
I like
aura
Marking
waves
their
out over
followers.
us.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
I
think
had
that's cool.
it in my mind is like the idea of like riding to war alongside our god slowly warped us as we
Mhm.
were traveling. But I do like the
Mhm.
idea of like the death gasp. Okay, that's
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Because I also like that idea too. And
Yeah.
that's why
Yeah.
it's not clearly explained.
Yeah, it's good. But yeah, all right. So we're kind of changing as we rode, and then on the death, like woof, disrupted.
Whoosh.
Everything's real bad. Bones come
Flames.
out.
Hey guys, have you noticed your hands are a little more like
different.
Just
I've been
like
losing a
looking
lot of
over-
weight.
Have you not been moisturizing?
Two-faced.
Yeah.
I thought it was okay, man. It's just a rash yesterday.
I put this coin back and I'm okay, but I take the coin.
Oh no! How many references to pirates are we gonna have?
Yeah.
That was the only one, I promise.
All
Step
right,
into the
we'll
moonlight,
see.
step out.
I shouldn't promise.
Yeah.
I shouldn't
Do you
promise.
believe in ghost stories?
You're
Start
in one.
believing in 'em.
Yeah. Amazing.
All right.
I have not seen
Yeah.
that movie in probably like 10 years. Let the
Yeah.
record show. And for some reason, I know
Be-
that exact
Because
scene.
the first one is a
Locked in.
classic. The
Yeah.
first
First
one
one's
is
great.
good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's it.
You heard it here first. Definitely.
And that's official.
And that's official. That's canon.
Yeah.
All right. So, with the captain out of the way, with our god chosen, our home decided, we now move into the part where we all get to look down at our character sheets for 5-10 minutes and make little guys.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So we as a group, we decided we're all going to kind of choose one of the Lordsworns because there's 26 of them. So which one kind of sounded the coolest to you? And then we're going to draw the other two to be random. Pull out your handy dandy half deck of cards with just these spades and hearts. You'll have that deck if you're in person. You just kind of like hand it out to everybody real even like. In this case, we're gonna I might actually just do that just for simplicity so we
Yeah.
don't mix up.
Mhm.
So we don't have two people draw the same Lordsworn and then
That's fair.
Ray has to fight Pitts to the death for who
Yeah.
gets to be
Oh, I know his weakness.
Behind the
s-
knees.
Rockin' socks. Yeah, anyway. Never mind.
All right, so I'm gonna go, and this is also good use of my little tokens. So now I can just one of you is a chestnut. So I think it's Aaron. Yeah, actually, you're a chestnut.
Oh, that's funny. I had an acorn that was literally going to be a token marker, but I realized it wouldn't be reliable because it was rolling around.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
see, it's got like a flat bottom. I don't know why I'm
Ah.
showing you the bottom of a chestnut.
It's important.
Yeah.
It's in the rules. Everybody go look it up.
This is the rules.
You need a chestnut with a flat bottom.
Everyone else got a nut that they're using as a marker.
Yeah, at this point, I feel like everyone needs to just go and find
Just go find one.
cashew,
run outside.
Brazil nut.
I mean, funny enough, this is the first time that like almonds aren't within arm's
I was
reach
gonna
of
say,
me.
yeah, there's almonds in my house.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just gonna go. I'll assign them as we kind of go through. So for pits, you got the 2 of hearts and the 8 of hearts.
2 and 8 of hearts. Thank you.
For myself,
Oh, I'm all hearts.
actually, I'll do mine later. Who cares about me? Aaron, you
We care.
have. Oh, you have the Queen of Hearts and the 6 of Spades. So I believe that's the Hopeful Herald and the Fading Avatar. For you, Ray, 10 of Spades, so the Simple Soldier, and the Jack of Hearts, the Bold Scald.
Ah, nice.
That's
Okay.
a cool one.
And then for myself, I got the 4 of Hearts, which is a freshly promoted lieutenant, and the Screaming Vindicator. Jesus. All right.
Nice.
That's a 5 difference.
That was a title I had seen but did not read over. I assume
They're angry.
Screaming 24/7.
Not 24/7. They do have moments of lucidity or where
Yeah,
they
yeah.
sleep, but they're moments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, gonna get some really good dialogue out of me for those ones.
Oh no.
I swapped out one of mine. I chose a new one.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna do my Prophet of the Outer Gods.
Ooh,
Okay,
I like
that
that.
sounds
We wanted
fun.
spooky.
That's right.
We
Good
got some
point.
spooky. Okay, so now what I would say, just separate from your the deck of cards you have, the 3 that are
Yep.
the Lordsworns you personally have. This is
Right.
what's going to be just called your Lordsworn deck. When we get to it, when you do events, you'll actually draw a random card each time. So every event that happens will be with a different character. You don't really get to choose. You kind of have to get. That's another weird design element of it, is that you kind of have to get comfortable with everyone and
Okay.
all the weird intermixings of that. And now
Oh,
we
that
do the
was-
part where we all make our little Lordsworns.
Do we want
Yeah.
to let's maybe talk through that with each character? Do you think, or do we want to keep that to our chest when we're rolling up here?
So
Or just
I
brief it at the
I
end.
imagine what might be actually easiest is to do an introduction period once we've all created them.
Okay.
Okay.
And
like
then we
it.
can say, I am so and so. These are my features.
Okay.
You basically, again, it's the thing I always say: 3d4, assign a value to each of the table results. That kind of generates your character. Feel free to add on more details, absolutely.
Okay.
But it's kind of to facilitate the nature of it.
Perfect.
Cool. All right. Locking
This
that
is the
all
part
down.
that's gonna be edited the most. Yeah.
Really, you don't want like 10-15 minutes of us all
Just the sound of dice hitting a desk.
yeah.
If you tell a funny enough joke, it'll make the cut. I rolled 3
All right.
2s for my chef. Let's mix and
Perfect.
match. Here
You
we
have
go.
no choice.
Let's mix
I know,
and
right?
match.
Nice.
Yeah, what do I do with all the ingredients? Oh yeah, we didn't say the ones we picked, did we?
No, not the picked ones. You're right. Sorry.
Ah,
I forgot which was the ones you picked.
We can,
Well, I guess when we do the introduction,
yeah,
we
when
can
we
just say-
introduce them,
Yeah.
we'll
We do
say
our
that.
intros. Okay.
Yeah.
Now we'll keep it secret, hidden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I should-
Keep it secret. Keep it
Oh.
safe.
Every time. Is that? No, that's Lord of the Rings. For some reason, I confuse it with Heroes because I think they did the similar.
Save the
cadence
cheerleader,
with,
save
like,
the world.
Save the cheerleader, save the world. Yeah. Every fucking time I imagine Gandalf's in Heroes.
You know, if there's any character that could probably justify some bullshit to be in another property entirely,
Yeah,
True.
it's Gandalf.
there's some prompts in here that I'm like, that's just heartbreaking. Okay,
Mm.
I'll choose that one.
Yeah.
Which character or which?
So I'm looking at the Simple Soldier right now, and
Oh,
under
yeah.
personal effects, number 4.
Yeah.
It's like that's just the idea of like a simple soldier, and like
Yeah.
this is all I can do. This is all I have to give. So that's heartbreaking, and it's perfect. I know.
I'm sorry.
I know. I know. I've said it to you, like on the campaign before. Where like, I love grimdark.
Mhm.
The more gut wrenching something is, the more fun I have. So that afterwards, I can go and hug my cat. You know. Like,
Honestly, though, yeah, like some of these prompts, I'd be writing them, and I'm like, I'm just gonna go
I need to go for a
touch
walk.
some grass for a second. I'm gonna go outside. I can see birds. I need to hear birds singing and like.
Where are the
Life
birds? I
going-
need the birds.
Yeah, if only they were real.
Oh, they were real.
Yeah,
Man,
it's
wouldn't
one
it
of
be
those
cool?
things. Actually, as a discussion, like as I've grown as a GM, one of the things I've had to really be aware of is that I have like a penchant for the macabre, and I have no problem like describing body horror and that kind of thing. I have to back off and give into the suggestion of it, and not the description of it,
Mhm.
right? Because there's a fine line where like grim dark just becomes body horror,
Yeah.
and that's a real fine line to ride.
Yeah, and body horror is that kind of thing that like I find it's like you're comfortable with it until you're not.
Yeah,
At that threshold between those 2 points,
Mhm.
it's a
like
razor's
with other-
edge.
yeah, it's like other things you can find, and you're like, okay, I know when it gets into this, I'm not comfortable with body horror. You're like, on that note, I've just got something writhing beneath my flesh and 2 additional arms now.
Hey.
And one of those arms is like definitely also still like I'm picturing down the half like Two-Face style for my skeletalness. So like it's got like 2 of them that are bones and 2 that are
I
fleshy.
think I want one like with a horizontal half. Like the bottom, I don't need to wear pants.
Yeah.
It's just skeleton bones. It's fine. You know
Just like,
how much money I save on pants now? It's amazing.
great.
Just Donald Duck in it all day.
Yeah, so now that we've made all of our little guys who are definitely all happy, safe, comfortable,
Mhm.
and going to make it home.
Yeah.
We can do as you always do in the beginning of a session, introduce your characters, kind of say some things about them. I think the best way, like when I've done this, is just to read off the prompts and then add
Mhm.
in anything you want to.
Okay.
Unless you've got a really cohesive like da 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 where you can like read it off like a D&D character being introduced in a tavern that they've definitely prepped for the past 2 weeks before session. If you've got that, go for it. But I'm just gonna read off
not.
my prompts and
Yeah.
get
Now-
the vibes.
Here's a question. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but we're going to be using different ones throughout different like parts. Do we want to introduce all of them now, or do we want to introduce the one that we're going to be using
Make
for
it,
the part?
That's not a bad idea because after the first 3 events, everyone will know who the hell we're playing.
That's
Okay.
it.
Keep it a
Right.
secret.
I like it.
Cool.
Keep it safe.
All right.
Keep it safe. Keep it safe. Save the jeweler. Save the.
Screw the whale, save a cow.
Gandalf
No.
and Hiro Nakamura. Get there again.
Oh God.
Then we get to jump right into things. So, the aftermath of I'll do a little narration. I get to do that, sure. The aftermath of the cataclysm behind you all, as the gods that all of the Lordsworns who were previously here fought for lie dead, bleeding, broken, pierced by 1,000 spears and swords and arrows. You all make your way home. The only place you know to be safe, the only place that makes any sense anymore in your hearts and minds, and hopefully it's still standing.
Sure,
And
could have
it
fallen
will-
into the pit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully the pit hasn't been shooken up by multiple gods dying,
Oh no.
We go back, it's
Not
just a
yet.
hole. Just- Alright.
The
Alright.
Long
mudslide
trip.
finally filled it in.
Guys, this year sucks. I'm just gonna say it.
What is it? 2020? All right.
But I mean, it's all
Uh.
free real estate now, so
That's true.
have at it.
You know, based on the epilogue we get, because after this, so
Yeah.
flavor text aside, we're now entering into what's called the journey home phase. This is the kind of quote unquote actual gameplay part of the section where you will play. We'll play our journey home over 4 weeks with 2 different events that kind of spark up during those weeks of going home. It will start fairly mundane, and it will end in horrors hopefully beyond our comprehension.
Yeah.
So, things will be, as the effects of the gods dying slowly seep into the world responds in kind. So it gets a little weirder. But I'm just going to do what you do at the very beginning, which is go through the process of the 5 steps to playing the journey home at an event. Yay.
Yay.
Yay. So there are 4 weeks. You have different kind of flavor text that is read by somebody. I'll start and then I'll assign each of you.
Perfect.
We'll just go clockwise from there.
Yep.
To read the text. As things get, it kind of sets the mood, it sets the tone for that week and the events that are to come. So, for our first week, week 1, your journey begins as a bittersweet contrast to the harrowing battlefield behind you. The land shudders, but is not reeling yet, from the death of gods and shedding of blood. People are still humane, wanting to assist where they can, and even death for your Lordsworns seems a faraway fear. So for the first week, we'll be doing an event of Unaware, and then an event in the Panicked. And then the next week, we'll do one in Panicked and one in Desperate, and it kind of continues on from there. It's a slight overlap, but it changes every week for the vibe. And yeah, we'll do the rules kind of as it comes up. I think that makes the most sense for play. So with the first event here, I'll start. I'll do the first roll, but as always, it's a grab 3d4. The way that the journey home phase kind of works is in 5 steps. Our first one is preparing the event. So this is where we roll. We see which prompts from the different tables we have before moving into the spotlight phase, where we'll draw which Lordsworns are here. And then we'll do the opening narration, where we all collectively as a group, this is GMless, even though I'm talking a lot more, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I mean, we could try and off the cuff explain the rules instead, but I think you'll do better.
You know, that's fair. I didn't want to give you homework of read 80 pages of my Google Doc, so that's fair. But yeah, so it goes preparing the event, you roll for the tables, you spotlight, you see which of your Lordsworns is involved. We'll introduce them for the first few days or first few events here. We do our opening narration. This is where we'll narrate the scene that's happening, but more importantly, how our Lordsworns want to interact and react to that scene. Then we'll do dice resolution, which is, I'll explain all that because it's got steps, but basically where we kind of resolve the scene. And finally, we do a closing narration, where we wrap everything up based on the results from our 3d4 rolling. Okay. So, I got a 1, a 2, and a 2. So, we get to pick between 2.
We just keep it. We keeping that train going. I like it.
We gotta keep those trains going. Yeah.
Decisions overrated. If I could have my way, just 3 threes. Screw it. So just for everybody to know, right? And it's kind of under the Unaware tab. There are 2 sets of. It's a little like less clear in a Google Doc. I apologize. But basically, there's 2 tables for each of the stages of like what you get the prompts for. You choose whichever one sounds cooler to you.
Okay.
So,
got it.
In this case, there's an entity, or sorry, the tables are entity, adjective, and action. So from that, you kind of build up what is before us, as we've kind of just left the battlefield here.
Okay.
So we have a 1 and a 2/2. So we can go, we have peasants, late reinforcements, a hamlet, or a warm inn. So the entities we kind of have options at. Got loyal, dismissive, thriving, hopeful. Actions, you got building, board, moving, fortifying.
Okay.
A whole lot of random words. Anything picking out kind of as like a scene you're imagining?
I like warm in.
Yeah.
Yeah, just 'cause, like,
I'm in.
I don't know, like we're just on the way back. Things are still chill, you know?
Yep.
Hitting it in on the way through for a meal or something. I don't hate that.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it.
Man.
Okay, so that's one of our twos.
So
Yeah.
would it be then that our inn is still thriving? Or perhaps are they maybe dismissive of us as we come through?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the vibe we want.
Interesting. Yeah, I wonder. Okay, so we are half bone, wreathed in flame.
Mhm.
I
Just
just
to keep
feel
that
like
in mind.
we got to
Yeah.
keep that in mind because
Yeah.
it's super hard to be dismissive of that. I think.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
you
was
guys
like,
look fine.
Yeah.
Going for a pint.
come on in.
Yeah, it's the usual shit. So,
It could be late into their drinks, okay? You know,
Yeah,
people,
yeah.
birds.
Oh,
they
wait,
see
that's a neat
birds,
party
they
trick
see-
you got there. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Or perhaps
Hmm.
are they loyal? Are they loyal to Lotix and
Oh.
recognize us as followers
Okay.
when we come in?
Maybe.
And that's why it's a warm inn. Maybe it's not
Is
just
there
that the inn
partially
is
changed as well?
physically
Uh-huh.
warm; it's that it's an accepting, welcoming inn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe
Yeah,
we stopped
warm,
there before, too.
loyal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe they'll even recognize some of us. Yeah.
Okay.
like
So
that.
that's 2-1, which leaves us with a 2.
Moving or fortifying.
Ooh.
Hmm.
What if they're
Fortify.
fortifying against something?
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a
Yeah.
solid.
Perhaps
We-
we're not the
we-
first wave of people to return from the front,
Hmm.
Maybe not.
and that word has already been carried that like the gods have died.
Okay. Oh, I
That
like
shit
it.
out here. Okay.
Yeah. So, what's the news from the front? Shit bad. Bye.
Shit bad. You got any beer and a bed? Boy, I can't use a bed anymore.
Set
Burn
it on
down.
fire. Yeah.
Roll on your fleshy side. You're fine.
Yeah, the flesh. Okay, awesome.
Okay, so then we've kind of established that scene, right? That bit of preparing the event, as I call it. Now we move into the spotlight. So now we see which of our characters actually are here at this warm in. So remember that deck that you kind of separated everything from?
Mhm.
Draw one card at random from it.
From the separated 3 or the full
Separated 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
separated?
So that you know which of your characters.
Which of your characters? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
For context, I'll call it the Lordsworn deck, but that is just 3 cards. It's a deck, right? It's more than 2.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's how math works.
And then do we discard this? Or is this going to come up again? Like, is this going to go back in the deck or no?
And so basically, yes, it'll
Okay,
go off to
perfect.
the side. And then once you run out, you put
Yep,
them back in.
Shuffle. Love it.
Kind of reset yeah. So you're always going through. You should have at least 2 interactions with each of your characters.
Okay.
If
One thing I would
you
recommend
don't die.
is associating your card and suit on your character sheet, which I did not do. So now I have to
But I just did.
look
Yeah.
again. I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
I actually
So-
just had it memorized because I don't know, like Galaxy Brain or whatever. But
I don't know.
Ah,
I
just-
forgot
Yeah.
to try that.
It's a skill issue, I guess. On
yeah, it happens to the best of us. You know, don't worry.
All right.
Everybody got their card, kind of comfortable with who they are.
I
And who wants to introduce their character first?
let's go clockwise. Let's get Bits to start.
Yeah.
Let's do
Throw
it.
the
Yeah.
clock back at him.
That guy,
That's
right?
it.
Back to the
Um,
clocks. Clocks aren't real too, by the way.
Clocks
Oh,
are-
well, there you
it's all
Sometimes a
it's all
construct.
fakes, man.
There is a god we could have chose that would have made time not real. So actually,
That's true.
Okay. Well, then you see an old man with very classical constellation embroidered robes. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can see he has looks like arcane sigils carved into the palms of his hands. Around his neck, he wears a copper ring that also has strange symbols, different to the ones that are on the hands themselves. And you've seen him many times asking around about it to see if anybody can actually read the symbols. They understand its meaning or anything to that regard, but it seems like no one really understands it. At his side, he has a silver sickle on one side, I would say, on his belt, and on the other, there's a pouch where he keeps a whole bunch of different things. You got like a utility belt of herbs and components in there. And you'd know his name to be Bertwald.
Ooh.
Birdie.
Bertwald.
Can I call him Birdie?
You absolutely. Only friends call him Birdie. You know what I'm saying?
None of my characters would call him Birdie, though, but I, Marren, am calling him Birdie.
I respect it.
Okay, so that means I'm up next, right?
That's right.
You know what? Inspired by that, Pitts, I'm gonna try and do my own fancy little intro. So I'm just gonna start with the name. Sir Jean d'Arche. It's my awful French.
Love
If anyone's played Fear and Hunger, I'm sorry, but that's my full just ripping this character from there. She is, you've probably seen her quite a bit, actually. Most of you would probably know her. She's the kind of left-hand woman of your captain, very close to them. Obviously not taking things super well. Kind of got a bobbed, kind of cut hair, black, very forlorn kind of look to her. And very obvious form of grieving. She is wearing the breastplate that you all instantly recognize as A, not originally hers, and B, belonged to the captain. A much shorter tempered, more direct and orderly woman. And you probably have seen, if you're close with her at least, a badge with a symbol from one of the local militias that protected your home of, it was Wester, I think?
Yep.
Yeah. And a very large flamberge on, kind of just strapped on her back now as she's just walking and traveling to keep it away. Yeah. And that's Sir Jean.
Okay. So you see Sedgwick, our soldier, who is dressed just in like the worn leathers of a scout, as opposed to the purple and silver that the rest of the company is dressed in. Sedgwick is dressed in deep greens and earthen colors, as he is one of the forward scouts for the company. He's steps lightly and kind of seems to look in every direction at once without really ever moving his head. You can see that there is a necklace of the company's crest, or full of the company's crest around his neck. So there are many woven howling wolves sort of sewn around his neck that he seems to always be kind of fingering nonchalantly or absentmindedly as he looks around. And he's got a longbow that stretches from above his shoulder down below his waist on the other side, and a short sword at his hip, who's just gaunt, hollow eyes, someone who looks lean, hungry, and worn.
Very good. You said he was a soldier? Or like the
soldier.
Scout?
Yeah, so the archetype is simple soldier.
Simple soul.
You said his name was Hedwig? Sorry?
Sedgwick.
Just joking.
Yeah.
Well, you did say he can look around without moving his head, so that's like an owl.
Yeah.
That's...
Simple soldier. Cool.
I thought it was cool, Ray.
I think it's
love
cool.
it. Yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah, just tease.
Just Owlman. Sedgwick Owlman.
I think I lesson.
Let me actually super double check. Yes, six of spades. Mine is the Fading Avatar, the Lordsworn archetype. Their name is Domination. Their features are that their flesh is cold, alabaster, marble texture with cracks already dancing along it, and a voice that echoes like a landslide. Kind of fitting, actually. I didn't think of the landslide.
Very fitting. Yeah.
Yeah, actually.
The personal effect is when it's ended to your roll, you were made to forget everything prior, but in my pocket remains a strange stone. It feels like home. And then the equipment I have is a huge greatsword of Saint Lucatiel, I think is pronouncing. So yeah, marble skin, cracking black a little bit, and a strange stone, and just a huge greatsword on the back. Just like I imagine kind of robes as well in the colors of our companies with purples and silver and howling moon on it, or howling wolf had a moon.
And I suppose that all of us still have like segments of bone and green wreath flame coming off of us as well. So this avatar, I imagine you're like 7 feet tall with this like cracking marble alabaster skin, and where it's cracking green flames are like seeping through
the strange bone under there. Yeah. I guess the cracking black is maybe the black bones underneath also being revealed. I think that's cool.
Yeah,
I like it.
Okay, hopefully it doesn't die
All right.
immediately.
Nah, I mean, we're in an inn being fortified. What could possibly go wrong?
Oh boy.
Rolls 2 wounds. How did you hurt yourself in a bar fight?
Beer's hot.
Oh, that's the worst. All right. And yeah, so as we've introduced our characters, I'll just go through kind of into the next situation. So now is that opening narration. So we established we're at a warm inn. They know us, it seems to be, that we've all agreed, or that they're at least familiar with us as Lordsworn of Lotex, loyal. Maybe they're in our territory as well, rather than kind of hostile territory. And they're fortifying this inn against something or someone, who knows. With that kind of determined and our characters chosen, we'll enter into that opening narration. What would you like to do in this situation?
I think maybe like if we're coming across this inn that's fortifying, I kind of picture that like as we're approaching, or perhaps even as Sedgwick is approaching and maybe ahead of the company, that there is, perhaps the inn owner is there outside, nailing up like old discarded shields and like thick timber all around the inn. When he kind of like sees us, kind of like waves us over, like, "Hi, us, come on in. We're still open. It looks like we're not, but we are." Well, probably taken aback a little bit by the appearance, but maybe doesn't say anything about it.
Because it's rude to point it out, right?
It's rude to point it out.
Rude.
Well,
Mom always said, "Don't stare." So
Yeah.
I ain't gonna stare, but I don't want to alarm you, but half your face is gone.
I'm very
kind of picture
sensitive
that
about that, man.
most of the like bone and flame that is on Sedgwick is actually from like his lower legs and down to his feet, as he has probably put more foot miles on than anybody else, and that's kind of like where the wear and wreath flame has come from. So he still looks human, just
don't look down.
just flamey feet,
Yeah.
You got shoes on still, right? We're not Hobbit, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when you have bone feet, do you really need shoes anymore? Like, what are you supporting? I don't know, yeah.
Just clack.
I don't need arch support now. Things are fine.
I don't know anatomy enough to comment on any of this.
But I think that Sedgwick kind of like makes the case of, we're returning from war. Yeah, it's not good. My company and I, we need a place to stay. Have you enough rooms for the 12 of us? And hopefully he does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking, I know it's kind of a silly thing to point out, but do we imagine the flames are actually hot and burning, or mainly like an ethereal type flame that...
Personally, I picture them as ethereal.
Yeah, like we don't have to worry about them constantly or anything.
Yeah, as it's more of like a burning of the spirit as much as the flesh.
Yeah. Technically, I do put that as cold flame.
Cold.
There you go.
That's
okay,
fair.
great.
That's fair.
Keep it so like you're able to still interact with people. And you're not just a walking fire.
Just kind of like, I can't.
Don't touch me and I won't touch you.
Yeah.
I
guess I'll sleep on the stone bed in my stone room in my stone home.
My stone underwear.
Yeah.
Well, the thing with the Avatar is never had to deal with these mortal things as far as they're concerned. Memory having been wiped in my case, this is the first time I've grown tired. First time that walking's been uncomfortable.
The first time you've needed rest.
I think
Okay.
I think Bertwald would spend a lot of time with you if you were interested. Being a learned man as he is, this is the first time you don't know stuff. You're just an open. I can teach you anything. But I'd probably sit down and try and spend some time with you and try and give you purpose now, because it seems like you might not have any.
That's
Hard to be an avatar of a dead god.
Yeah, that's a tough spot to be in. That's sad.
It's rough.
We're all in a good place right now. Bert seems fine.
Yeah.
Bert's fine.
I mean, you do notice Bert was already bald, except for the beard.
Right.
And it looks like where the bone is showing it's at the top of the head, and it's slowly spreading down. And he's expressed worry.
Like a melting candle.
Yeah, and he's expressed worry that he's going to lose the beard at some point.
No.
Because if there's no flesh to connect it to, then
It's gone.
yeah, it's like, and he does complain constantly about going bald for a second time, and the problems that come with that. It's not fun.
I love it.
I don't know if I'm gonna go bald. I've never had hair. Just marble skin.
I just love this idea of this towering man. I do not know if I will go bald.
Yeah. Maybe I'll start to grow hair.
Yeah, I imagine Michelle, she's kind of probably hasn't talked a whole lot along the walk here, and seeing a direct purpose, something that she can get involved in and materially manipulate things and not have to think, she starts helping the tavern keep, almost like wordlessly, start to fortify different things. And I imagine anyone paying any attention notices that she corrects certain things and like actually hammers in a nail. Like, it's very much of a managerial,
like removing the bent nails, and yeah,
it's like, come on, but doesn't say anything, just cold, like stone cold, just going through picking things apart. But as she's going through this process, this kind of familiar process of fortifying a location, starting to feel a bit more human again. Never mind the burning skeleton.
No, correct me if I'm wrong. She is our lieutenant. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
She is basically now the standing captain, the commander of the group. Yeah.
Okay. So I think Sedgwick, just being the soldier that he is, likely falls in line with the lieutenant, helping, but also raises some conversation with our inn owner, and begins to question what the reason for the fortification is. And I think that's probably revealed to us that like the dead have been seen wandering the land, or like it's rumor, but it's rumor that feels concrete enough that this owner is frightened and is trying to protect his clientele. So I guess we get
mentioned
that kind
in passing, like, I hope the rumors aren't of us.
Yeah, like hopefully not. I mean, as far as we know, us 12, we are the last of our company as well. So unless others have passed, perhaps we don't know. I think probably Sedgwick will like work with the lieutenant for as long as they need to satisfactorily fortify this place against whatever coming danger there is.
Yeah, I think same with Domination. Sitting at the table for a little bit with Bertwald, but then as soon as the now captain gets into motion, old habits. He never had to rest before, so why would he start now?
Yeah.
Don't tell me the old man is gonna have to join us at this meeting, or it's gotta just sit by.
No, he you would see him walking to the entrances, like where there's any doors or windows, anywhere that could be breached, basically. And you hear a lot of muttering under his breath, waving of hands, specific components coming out of the pouches, and things being smeared on walls, stuff like that.
Smeared on the walls. All right.
Yeah, guano, baby.
I was gonna say back guano.
That's
Let's
right.
go.
All right. That's a classic.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's great. Just fill the walls with saltpeter. Cool. Yeah.
It's fortified, trust me.
Wizard shit.
We're all
as it's
doing-
called.
Yeah, it's just wizard shit.
Look at me, wizard shit. All right. So it sounds like we kind of like naturally progress kind of what we're doing. There's a few angles. Now we'll get into the scene resolution part. So
Okay.
I'll talk a little bit about this. This is the mechanical part, if you will, of all of this. So Lordsworn uses what I call a kind of, I think I said it was like a secret or hidden 3d4 system. Basically what happens is that each of us individually will roll 3d4, keeping one of those values for our own Lordsworn and assigning two of the other values to two of the other people in the scene.
Can I not give 2 negatives to Aaron?
You absolutely, I mean, you could over a period of time. You could.
Do you have to? That's the trick.
That's fair. That's good to know. I might have a chance of living then. So basically you roll your 3d4, you keep 1 for yourself, and you assign 2 to 2 other players.
Okay.
Given that there's 4 members in this table, we'll have to have a little conversation to make sure each person at the end of it still has 3 d4s assigned to them.
Okay, I gotcha.
Is that clear as mud?
So that is 3, including our own, right? So we're receiving 2 from other people plus 1 of our own.
Yeah. And then once we do that, I'll talk about, but basically this kind of resolves the scene.
Okay.
We're gonna roll.
Shake them real good, get the luck out of them.
Oh no. All right.
No.
So I'm gonna assign mine to Aaron and Ray.
I've assigned mine to Mike and Marren.
I have 2.
I have 2.
I'm gonna.
You have 2.
Do I have 2? Okay. All right. Yeah, we should definitely have some kind of thought for this. Okay. So
I just take some notes. Put fingers up.
Me and Mike need to distribute.
Yeah, you need to give 1 to me, Aaron, and then 1 to someone, and I need to give 1 to you, which is hilarious, and then 1 to someone else.
Okay, I will do the 2 top, so 1 to both of you.
Right.
And those will be, I'll just set those aside because they're doubles anyway. Haha.
Perfect. Yeah, and so are mine.
Ah, there you go.
Great.
As are mine.
Okay.
Ooh.
Please tell me, Ray, that you. Yeah.
Yep, doubles.
All right.
Who would have thought with 1 in 4 chance it would happen? So the way that I've done this is just kind of, we'll go in order. We'll do clockwise because we've done that a lot. Starting maybe with Pitts, that everyone who's assigned 1 to Pitts lets him know the number. Pitts take it down, right? Just so you have all your values.
Yep.
Once we get everybody's values, I'll explain the next step.
Okay.
I know what I got. What did everybody else give me?
I gave you a 2.
Okay. A
3.
Woo.
For me,
I gave you 2.
I give you a 3.
thank you. 2 and a 3. Perfect.
Ray, I gave you a 1.
Okay.
Ray, I gave you a 3.
Like you better. All right.
Aaron, I gave you a 1.
Hey, awesome.
And I gave you a 3.
Me a 3. Okay, awesome.
Oh no,
right.
I'm the luck vampire. It's me now.
Well, the irony is that they're still the ones who are suffering from dice rolls.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There
So
it
it's
is.
even more
There's-
cursed.
there's the
It's not about
curse.
them rolling.
Yeah, there's the curse. That's how it's coming through. I like it.
Boom.
Somehow,
It
in the
finds a way.
safest setting,
Yeah.
we've got quite a few ones, so that should be fun.
Okay. So we have to determine as a group how we're distributing these, but in secret?
Yeah, so basically, to kind of break it down, is that you do the secret roll, you assign to everybody, everybody figures out which dice they've been given, the values that they have, and then you will individually assign that to the resolution table.
Okay.
Which is our
the success, the
scene
wounds, and the morale.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Success, wounds, and morale.
Perfect.
So, success is whether the event resolves positively. It's kind of a group one. So, if we have more failure than success, things go bad. We interpret that how we want, but not very good for whoever's involved. Wounds, as a note, each Lordsworn has a maximum of 3 wounds they can sustain before they are incapacitated.
Yep.
you can define that as whether if they die, whether they're severely wounded, they're not
They're
able to
out.
function anymore, whatever you want. And then the last one is morale. Morale is kind of our group stat.
Mhm.
I realized I forgot to bring this up in the beginning.
It's a perfect time.
Yeah, so when you make your company, one of the things that you do is you determine how much morale you have as a group. We're going to start with 8, which is kind of the max. If your morale reaches 0, the game is over. If a player loses all 3 of their Lordsworns, it also triggers the end of the game. And the other
Okay.
way to trigger the end of the game is to get to the last event successfully.
Okay.
So
Which is totally going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
hopefully,
Yeah.
statistically,
Well, we'll find out.
it's not the worst odds from my.
We want to talk through like what happens, how it happens, all that here, right? Because I've got a killer setup that I'm really excited about.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Because I rolled terribly, and you guys tried to help me, but you couldn't. So,
Ooh.
you see, you see Bertwald's rubbing his bag guano on the walls,
Birdie.
potentially trying to. You're unsure in the moment if he's trying to do some kind of arcane fortification or setting a booby trap. It's unclear in the moment. And then you hear a small explosion go off. And see one of the boarded up windows just gets blown out. You see Birdie goes flying backward. As whatever he was trying to set up, he did not do a good job of. Now, you all know Birdie's old, and his mind doesn't work probably quite the way that it used to. And you see he's lying down on the ground for a minute and just and you see his hands go to his head, and you see more flesh has been ripped from his face. So now it's like this like patchwork along his face. Part of his beard is now missing, as he took a head wound.
The beard.
And is likely never going to be the same again.
Oh no.
Because I rolled 2-1-1 on the wound table.
Oh no.
No.
That's another thing. Sorry, if any of you
Opted
choose
for
to
a
take a wound, there's actually a wounds table to help generate like what happened and
Oh
where.
no.
Yeah.
Bernie has perfectly illustrated. Wow, so you have 2 wounds in the first event.
No, so he got one wound.
It was just one.
Oh.
It was
Okay.
one wound, but when I rolled what happened,
It was the head.
it was the
right.
head. It was
Likely-
pretty severe. And it's painful, but with some proper rest and healing, it might be okay. Not the flesh part. That's gone. I
Yeah, we don't get
comes
that back.
And you see
There
there's
goes
like
the
So
God for
we've
that.
lost half of it.
yeah, and you see there's like cracking along his skull, and he kind of walks up to anybody who comes to see him and just goes, "Does it look okay? Am I all right? Is it
I actually
good?"
think that it's Sedgwick is the first to run to him once he hears that explosion. He's in the middle of trying to fortify, and he hears that and moves with his fleet feet to like try and kind of like catch Birdie in the process, and just doesn't quite make it, which is why he fails at his task of trying to like help fortify. But suffers no wounds and no morale loss because this isn't his fault.
It's not.
I warned you, Birdie.
It's-
Guano is
thought I had
really-
it this time. It's
oh,
said all the incantations right. It should have been fine.
I'm telling you that rune on your hand is not meant for that. You really need to get that looked at.
I think it used to be, but I don't know now.
If this keeps up, you probably won't have to worry about it long.
Put me into bed, please.
Yeah. And that's exactly it. Kind of like with a nod of apology towards the inn owner, kind of like help Birdie up into bed and like tuck him in, like just stay out of trouble, old man.
I'm just gonna take a nap.
Yeah. Leave him with a glass of water and head
All
back
right.
downstairs.
Poor Birdie.
Yeah.
He's trying.
He's having
Man.
a rough
Magic's
go.
hard,
Birdie.
but the
Magic
concept
is
of
hard.
Magic dies.
Yeah.
They never
Magic's
tell you
tough.
Oh,
that. Tough.
they never tell you that in college.
Yeah.
You missed that lecture, Birdie. It's okay.
It's true, yeah. Oh, in his younger
Um,
years, he skipped a lot of classes. He was having a good time.
Yeah, Birdie's got that vibe.
Yeah.
So I'll say for mine, because I got 3, 3, and 2. I'm going to say we take 1 morale loss, just to make it spicy. But I'm going to have us have a success for the event still, and no wounds for Sir Jean. Maybe the explosion from Birdie, and just
Bernie
the way
now.
that like a simple kind of process. And I imagine actually maybe the morale loss is again for her is that in that situation she seized up, not knowing exactly what to do. And it was someone else who acted first. It was someone else who resolved the situation, and that burden of the armor from the previous captain weighs a little heavier on her. But manages to still fortify what she was doing and makes a good enough wall with more boards on it of this inn. It's a process, you know.
Yeah.
Domination just kind of hunkers. He's been helping put up wall and fortifications as much as he can, and then, you know, lifting some of these larger boards up above, placing them high up over some of the windows. Suddenly, explosion from behind racks the building. Boards fall back down, hit the ground, turn back. Birdie's been blown aside again. Just say like, the last of our wizards are nearly killing themselves. And just hanging my head, looking at the boards with a sigh, put them back up. I'll use that 1 that I was gifted. Thank you. We're going to lose another morale.
Oh boy.
But I will use our 4 and 3 to eventually, I'm getting these boards up, turning the 4 into a success, and we begin to fortify. And 3, I don't take any wounds, having evaded the explosion, and the boards didn't fall on me either. And just tirelessly keep working at fortifications, just crestfallen as the singed Birdie is being carried away to bed.
Just imagine he's like at the wall, just thinking like, "What's the symbol for combustion?" Oh fuck!
Was it this?
I think the
I
last
remember
note
now.
is you see Domination just kind of like in that sighing moment does have a glance towards our new captain, Frozen, again, and just thinks, maybe even says like, this is the remnants of what we were. Disappointing.
She kind of nods and failures,
Yeah.
and kind of keep going about things.
That's definitely 2 morale loss. Ouch.
Yeah, right. That's a bad time.
Off to a great start, gang.
Yeah. Oh boy.
An
Okay.
omelet without cracking some eggs.
As the head yolk comes pouring out of his face.
Birdie's the only reason we're gonna make it to this home. Is we got to do it for him.
Yeah.
Only got like half a nose left. The other side's just a cavern. I blink my left eye. My eyelids are gone.
Oh no! Oh, I never thought about that. Oh.
Right.
Oh
That's
yeah,
bad.
yeah. It's a bad time.
No.
Did Sedgwick do all of his results with that, or
Yeah,
I don't
that was
think-
kind of the idea. Was just like that he fails because he's sidetracked by Birdie there. Like lets
The
a couple
failure.
of the boards fall, and yeah, it just fails at the task he was trying to complete because he's had to go and take care of the concussed wizard. And then yeah, just no wounds because nothing happened, and then no morale loss because it wasn't really his fault.
All right, nice.
So
He's-
I believe we
fine.
have a tie for success,
Mhm.
which means we, because I'm generous in the rules, the scene or the event resolves positively. So
Nice.
we managed to fortify up the inn without burning it down.
You're welcome.
Burning
Good enough.
not close, but yeah. And now we kind of enter with kind of the closing narration. So if there's anything you want to kind of add, I imagine during the night, given maybe our close proximity of to the god who died of the dead, I imagine we're all dreaming of the dead
Mm-hmm.
and the
Mm.
souls we left behind and the ones we didn't bury, and Smith's, at least for my character, Sergeant, she is racked with the guilt of all of those that she wasn't able to help and wasn't able to bury, and wonders if they are following in her wake.
I think that Sedgwick remains awake, perhaps out on the balcony of this inn, looking out over the now dark horizon. I imagine that there's likely, like, perhaps cracks in the sky or like off-color aurora borealis off in the direction of the battlefield as the wild death magics of the gods sort of begin to dissipate. And he stands there again, absentmindedly caressing the crests of his fallen comrades, listening to the hollow, echoing screams of the dead that are wandering the land off in the distance, as those screams sort of like echo off the mountains and just sort of fill the land with the haunting cries of the unrested dead.
I think I'd just be hauntingly looking out the window. Probably if we can see the spear tips of the things penetrating through our dead gods, just looking at those on the horizon silently.
I actually imagine that like that aurora borealis sort of like illuminates and backlights those shadows.
Yeah.
And perhaps you and
so
I
far.
are standing together just in that sort of comfortable silence of comrades that have fought shoulder to shoulder and know that there is nothing to be said.
Yeah.
I think Birdie is probably in bed for a lot of the day because, again, concussions, and there's concussion protocol for a reason. But just thinking again how close he's come to dying and how he's pretty old and feels like maybe he should have taken the place of some of the people that died there. But he just doesn't, he's never been brave enough to be in a position where he could be killed in such a way, nor is he keeps fiddling with this ring that he has around this necklace because he feels it's the only thing that keeps him going, wanting to find out what the runes on this one ring mean.
And that's the end of our happiest chapter, because
Yeah.
So as that being like the first like little bit of Lordsworn that we've all actually played, that was fun.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I like the
Yeah.
narration of it. It's good.
I'm glad it worked. It's always a point of anxiety of like, all right, it's gonna work here. But no, that was great. And that's exactly how like that kind of interconnected GM list, everybody contributing different ideas, building off each other.
Mm-hmm.
So let's keep with the clockwise thing.
Yeah.
Ray, do you want to do our next event? So this
I
will be
very much
Panic.
do. Yes, because we know that I can handle panic. Great.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go. 1, 2, 3.
Options.
I think that I'm going to choose our entity first and say it's going to be farmlands
Okay.
that we come across, leaving us with a 2 and a 3.
Mhm.
I mean, if we're going through farmlands, I feel like guarded, scared, or leery could work potentially. Like if we're traveling through
Yeah.
people's farms or like through like a small village or something, a bunch of people with fire all over their body, a little off-putting.
A wee bit. Yeah, I like
Okay.
that.
So do we think perhaps a scared would be the word then, leaving us with protecting or arguing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like
Okay.
like protecting scared. Like, do we interpret that as we are protecting them because
Or
they're
we're protecting
scared?
ourselves.
We're protecting ourselves.
Or is it the farmer, a frightened farmer protecting his land as we move across it and is
They don't
frightened
like
of
us.
us? Yeah.
Yeah. We
I
are
think
far from home.
Yeah.
Or is it farmers arguing with each other over no?
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like a milk dispute.
You moved your fence 2 feet every year. I swear.
And that's where the greenest grass is. Farmlands, scared and protecting.
Okay.
So in my mind, what I'm seeing is that Sedgwick and Domination were listening to the like keening screams and moans of the dead echoing across the lands, and perhaps this farmer has heard the same thing, and farmers, especially out in the boons like this, they tend to be a very superstitious, religious type, and they are now of the belief that the dead are wandering the land, whether or not it's provable as true. Maybe they've heard the story before, and he's not letting a single person that is not his his daughter, his sons, his children, his wife, onto his property.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, again, we don't look too different from what you would expect undead to look like.
We look half dead.
Yep.
Especially
there. Whoa.
Hello, Tix and his prayers.
I like it. No, yeah, I imagine we are, maybe as things are getting more and more funky, suspicion specifically maybe more out in these less cosmopolitan areas where people looking funky is more normal. Maybe that's just old, human instinct of you look very weird and I don't trust you.
Yeah.
So maybe it's almost like a confrontation between our company, our little caravan of people, and maybe a group of farmers or something.
Yeah.
Gives us some tension to work through.
Trying to prevent us from passing.
Yeah. I think it's definitely the cut across, the several dozen acres or whatever, is probably a shortcut from section of road to section of a road, as opposed to following it around the ravine or whatever. And this farmer is just not allowing these undead creatures to, step foot on his property.
Yep.
Fastest way is straight through. So
that's exactly it.
Yep. All right, now we'll draw from our Lordsworn deck. It's your favorite time, Aaron.
I got it.
Let's hope I get the Screaming Vindicator, because they will surely be a good diplomat.
Right. Okay.
It's the Prophet. Okay.
I've got my bold Scald.
I've got the Hopeful Herald, Embald.
Got the warm-hearted chef.
Ooh, warm-hearted chef. All right, that might work out.
This is probably our best group to non-violently get through a situation.
Yeah, I definitely thought this was going to turn to violence, but okay.
All right, and then as it's the first time we're introducing these set of characters, we'll do our little introduction of how they look. Starting once again with Fitz, if you're okay with that.
Yeah.
For sure. So Dermund is the chef for the company. Always has been. He's always been very quick to make sure bellies are fed. People are happy. He finds a lot of joy in cooking a good meal for people and seeing the people themselves well fed. You see he has, I would say, medium length black hair that's currently braided back behind a bandana. And the skin that does remain on his arms, however much there may be, you see there are a lot of burn marks, just from years of grease spatters and grabbing something without thinking. He's burn marks all over his arms themselves. You do see that he always does carry his trusty cast iron pan. He has made many a meal in it and cleans it rarely, if at all. Gotta make sure that you're mixing it all up. You want all the juices from the last meal to get in the next one.
Gotta keep that flavor.
Exactly.
Perpetual stew.
Yeah, it's perfect. And he does carry with him a large two-handed cleaver, because he does know that he sometimes has to butcher some of the larger animals, so he comes well prepared for that. Hopes for venison as often as possible, but settles with whatever he can get his hands on.
All right.
Yep.
So my prophet of the outer gods, probably someone you haven't talked a lot with. They're a little more reclusive overall. Not that you know them as a prophet of the outer gods either. Collart, Cot. They them for pronouns. Previously they looked pretty much like an everyman, short cropped soldier hair, nothing out of the norm. Things changed along the journey, and especially with the death of Lotex, that if you spend time looking at where there is flesh still, you see, and it feels like a trick of your eye, something serpentine just below the skin, almost like it's trying to come out. And more noticeably, they also have two fully functional arms now. on top of their normal 2. So,
Oh, okay. It's like, hey, me too.
yeah, that's normal, right? Sorry, I meant they have 4 arms now.
Yeah.
4 arms. Got it.
Yeah. And another thing that they have that you probably wouldn't be super aware of is, or maybe if you've caught them kind of when you're all bathing, I guess, that upon their thigh is a brand of a symbol that none of you recognize. It belongs to an organization that, a cleric might know of as a heretical one that has always questioned the authority of the supposed gods.
Mm.
And on their hip is a meteorite shotel. It's like pitch black as night, kind of carved almost like obsidian looking shotel that you have seen them use to some good effect prior.
Nice.
Okay.
So I'm going to be that guy and ask, what is a shotel?
It is a
Those little
like a
guys.
curved kind of blade.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. I can envision it immediately. Just wasn't aware of the name. Okay.
I imagine the little guys in Elden Ring, the very little guys with the
I was
tall
gonna
hats.
say this
yeah.
is giving off some manor vibes too. I like it.
Mm.
Serpent God. I've been there.
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah.
You're gonna
Yeah,
ask
sure.
me to
I
go
did
kill other
definitely-
4 like Lordsworn, or I know how
What's
this
that?
goes. So you're gonna get me
Yeah.
to go try and kill other Lordsworn? Because
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did that quest.
Listen
line. I
to
know
the
stuff.
guy who's a giant snake. What could possibly go wrong?
No downside.
Obviously
And then this
good.
lady who wants to, eat his brains later or whatever.
Yeah, whatever she's up to.
She's doing
Yeah.
something. I don't get it.
Details.
Yeah, that's awesome. This guy's gonna
Yeah.
look really friendly to the farmers for sure.
Comparatively to who my other guy is, yes.
Yeah.
Touche. Touche.
They can give so many high fives at once. So many.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what that is? That's a nat 20.
Hey,
Ooh.
clap, 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 clap.
Playing your character,
I-
right?
Yeah. Okay. So you see before you a man who looks like at one point he was rather jovial and jaunty, because he carries a wooden flute, sort of in a scabbard similar to the sword and buckler that's on his other hip. Just this well-crafted wooden flute that is like finely aged and obviously very well taken care for. He's wearing brightly colored like tunics, they sort of like the purple and silver of the company, but sort of brought up on that next level of intensity, almost to a garish manner. The rest of the company would know that prior to the cataclysm, he had a musical way of speaking, almost like he was always in a musical cadence. But since the death of the gods, it seems almost as though he speaks in like a C minor. In that everything he says now has an undertone of sadness to it. A man who no longer has joy. And you notice that he has another satchel that seems sort of leaden and heavy, that he's just very protective of. And you know him as Darren Ravenswav.
I'm making notes, but I'm sure these people are going to die so fast. It won't matter.
Yeah.
My character, the next Lordsworn, is the Hopeful Herald. Name is Embald. He's kind of aged on the way back, but definitely seemingly like barely even in their 20s. They still wear the helmet colored in the feathers of purple and silver for our company. And you see on the shoulder, mostly skeletal now, is a pet bird that they always kind of had before they were skeletal, but it's kind of changed with them. And at their neck, they wear a necklace with a lock of reddish hair kind of twirled into it. They carry a large spear with the R banner kind of flapping tattered behind. It's kind of using it as a walking stick and banner and spear all in one. Just trudging along.
Cool.
Okay. So we've got, I guess, our 4 hopefully relatively communicative, otherwise a fight might break out, who knows. Lordsworn here. How do we want to approach What's going on?
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know. As a herald, it's hard to fully know entirely what a herald always means, but I do feel like they'd be one to try and breach the subject first. I've got a messenger bird and everything, so it seems like I try and be the liaison type, unless anyone feels they would step in front as I try and.
No, I actually think that as the herald, you're likely the best option. Perhaps with Darren as the sort of the backup, as you carry the mark of not only our company but our god, as a way of marking our passage and try and essentially adding legitimacy to our claims of like peace.
I would have pushed you to broker peace with these farmers if you could, just so that we could get fresh produce, so I can make a better meal for tonight, which I desperately think everybody needs because, we're all feeling not great right now. So
yeah, it's been several days since we all left the inn, and
Okay, interesting. So we're here for trade and passing through is kind of our argument.
Yeah.
Okay. Did I write your name as well? Was it Kalart? Was that correct?
Kalart, yeah. I imagine Kalart's probably hanging around the outside, like almost like behind, like that kid, like behind their parents as they're like talking with the other adults. Yeah, kind of. Mostly because, if you got an extra set of arms, they're probably not going to help our case that much.
It looks so natural. You're carrying stuff while scratching your head.
Yeah, while saying high five and holding a sword. But they definitely have already pulled off their chatel and are kind of just waiting for the excuse.
Okay. Ready for violence.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the farmer's probably not going to believe our initial claims, despite the heraldry and whatnot. Just the, you could have picked it up off one of their corpses. You're flaming, you're bony, just completely frightened. Like, it's got the pitchfork. Like, just give me an excuse to end one of you.
Yeah.
I think Darren would sort of like move forward with the flute, probably playing a tune that is reminiscent of one of the older stories about Lotix and about how us and Wester are always like fighting for peace. Probably an epic about the plinth where we broker peace to try and like sort of soothe the situation and show that we mean what we say.
Yeah, I think I would kind of like under the tones of that say that we're here for peace, pointing back to the auras over our shoulders, dotting the horizon with bad shit. Just saying like, gods are fallen, we're all heading home. And if there's money, I don't know what money, if that has any real value, try and say we'd look to trade and move through here for any of your looking to the chef, the freshest produce you've got.
We need potatoes, we need carrots, celery would be great, root vegetables, hearty if possible, maybe some apples, they tend to do very well on the road, parsley, thyme, rosemary, cayenne if they have it, chili if they don't, just a couple other things, yes.
Yeah, just our usual
so much
standard
butter.
list.
Yeah.
If you've got the butter and any seeds for my friend here, just pointing to the bird. And
we can't grow on the road. We can't grow anything too. Crops won't work on the travels.
And
I think he means for the bird, friend.
Oh.
And Collard just kind of like pokes their head out, goes back behind.
Just like stunned, like, you were talking to me the whole time?
I'll sort of sweeten the pot, like, if you provide us passage, or if like we spend the night, like I will sing our epics, and tell tales like for your family. And again, these are a bunch of country bumpkins. When's the last time that they had an actual bard here to play music for
put
them?
their name in a song too? Yeah.
Also,
The
one
most
pig.
bard thing ever.
Yeah.
One pig.
One pig. Yes.
Just one pig.
One
all
pig.
the produce. and
One pig
spices
lasts a
you
long
have.
time. One pig's good.
I imagine like with all of this kind of like sweet talking, the good cop, bad cop kind of thing, Collard just like looks for, and maybe this whole time has been identifying who is like the shakiest with the pitchfork, and just unbroken eye contact with them. And 2 arms come out, one with the shotelle just so they can see it,
The extra.
and then just a smile.
Oh no.
Like 2 arms pull back the jacket, the third arm grabs the
Yeah,
chatelle.
they go.
You know?
Yeah,
So that'll
it's
explain our ones when those come up.
Yeah. Gotta set the scene, right?
Yeah, you gotta build an out.
I mean, in my defense, I have 2 hyper violent characters
Yeah, yeah.
and a
You do.
super depressed character. I'm like, I'm helping.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
All right,
All right,
let's
let's
so
handle
let's
some
do the
farmers.
scene
Let's
resolution.
roll.
Seems like we got everything set.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And this one was panicked, yeah? Or
Yeah.
That's not relevant. I just
So-
need to go to the where's the next part from?
Eh,
What I do like about this sort of resolution is that there is that sort of desire to hold the good dice for yourself.
Mm-hmm. But then
Yeah.
you might overload
But
someone.
then you might overload somebody else and actually cause more damage to the party. So there's that sort of competitive, cooperative element to this.
Mm-hmm.
I think Simple Plan said it best when they said, "Welcome to my life."
I'm certain they didn't.
That was actually
mean-
the original inspiration.
This, yeah. Jeez.
Lordsworn, brought to you by Simple Plan.
Oh,
Oh.
gosh.
Okay, well,
I wish so badly that were true. Amazing.
I wish it was too, but I sadly can admit that Simple Plan did not come into any of my
Yeah.
thinking
all
here,
of the plans were
This
always
video not
complex.
sponsored by Simple Plan.
unfortunately. Listen, if they reached out,
It's true. They could have, and it's their loss, quite frankly.
I gave 1 to Ray and 1 to Aaron,
Okay.
1 for myself.
I gave 1 to Pitts and 1 to Aaron.
Okay. Is it possible to still give? Yeah, I can give these 2.
Yeah,
One.
you can, and we can talk about if you need to change who
Yeah.
and what too, and like why.
Then yeah, so I know where my 2 are going, and I know who's getting what.
Tight. Okay.
All right.
Do you want me to resolve first? Do you want me to say what it is? We say our numbers, right?
Yeah.
So I'm keeping
Yeah.
a 3 for myself. Marren, I'm going to give you a 3. Ray, you're getting a 1.
Naturally.
Yeah, I feel like that's what happened last time.
Well, last time you both got
It's-
1s, so
That's true,
I
yeah.
swear to the gods, though, if we lose just on morale because we keep getting ones,
Yeah.
Again, Aaron and I are playing, so
Yeah, it can happen.
Yeah, they're high.
Okay.
Martin, who did you give your dice to?
Oh right, sorry, clockwise. Wow, I remember how clocks work.
Go standard clockwise.
Yeah, right. So I gave a 4 to Ray and a 3 to Aaron.
Ooh, wow.
Okay.
You
And a
guys know
1
how to
for
roll
myself.
4s? How's that possible?
Jeez, a 1 for yourself.
You need to
Jeez.
unlock that skill.
I don't think I'm helping here.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. That's very fair.
I really don't think Collard is doing anything to this
Yeah.
situation.
That's
Oh,
true.
boy.
Got 2.
So, first of all, the neighbors downstairs were cooking bacon, and I'm sitting right over the grate, and all I can smell is bacon right now.
Well, let's make sure we get that pig.
I'm
You know
so
what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
Beautiful
gotta get that
torture.
pig.
Yep. So I gave a 3 to our chef. I gave a
Nice.
1 to our herald, and I kept
Good.
a 1 for myself
Okay.
because I'm trying to
That's
help.
a lot of 1s. Okay.
I get a feeling this may not resolve as peacefully as we thought.
I don't think so.
Okay. Who's got just 2? 2 and 2. Okay, so then it's to you 2 instead. Both 3s. To both
oh
of you.
my goodness.
And a 4 for me.
Wow.
Wow.
Ow! Look at you rolling those caltrops. Okay.
Yeah,
But again,
Carrying the team.
It doesn't affect what he gets.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's what I get given. So
Glad I could help prove and give more evidence to this curse theory for you just with this game.
Yeah, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, this is the science we needed.
yeah, yeah. Here it is.
All right.
Okay,
So now with all those numbers, assign them and we'll figure out what the hell happens here.
Yeah, this is gonna be interesting.
Okay, I got
Oh,
it.
interesting. Okay.
I got it.
I don't want to go first this time because I think I know what's going to happen to the person doing the talking. And I think
Okay.
I know how I'm going to.
Well, if that's the case, then
Yeah.
why don't we have Marren go first, and then in the next event, I'll go first, and then
I like it.
follow that
Okay.
way.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can,
That
yeah.
makes sense.
So I put the 3 into wounds and 3 into morale. So no morale is lost and no wounds are
Perfect.
had. 1 for the failure. As you guys are talking, and behind you is this just like stone-faced looking person who is like threatening half the crowd. We'll see if you're able to talk around that, but
Yeah.
they are. Collard is not knowing how to interact with regular people again. Especially with this like occasionally, like as you're making like progress, like someone will look and they'll just see like a writhing snake kind of pop out and then go
Oh.
back down of like a missing part of flesh, and it just kind of goes
Yeah.
up and
Brutal.
down on success. So yeah. Depending on how other parts of this go, Collard might participate in violence, but they have
Yeah.
a small subset of skills.
I think that's fair.
So I had 2 1s and a 4.
Mm.
So what I'm going to do is give myself a failure,
Mm.
take 2 wounds, but then add a +1 to our morale.
Ooh.
How
And the reason for that is that in an effort to try and like placate the crowd, Darren begins to play like one of the more raucous tunes. It's actually more of like a limerick. But what happens is when he's telling the limerick, he actually uses some of the language that they use in Wester, which out here in the Boons is actually slang for something offensive. So he's actually accidentally calling the crowd a bunch of like hicks, essentially. And he's playing really well, but somebody in the crowd gets so offended that they just throw a stone and it just
Jesus.
cracks him right over on the temple. And he
There's that
keeps trying
violence.
to play, but the flames begin to like sort of break through the skin of that injury, and on his hands as well. You begin to hear like, "He's a witch! Burn him! He's already on fire!" You know,
Jesus.
and the crowd just starts to get more and more fervent that they are dealing with sort of dastardly undead at this point. And eventually he just gives up, like slams in, like, "You're a bunch of stupid hicks anyway," and just like stomps into the background, which provides a little bit of humor for everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that fits pretty well. Because I also taking a failure. So whoops. But we have that. And I think it's because of
Violence
that.
time.
Like I'm trying to make my argument during this song, which was supposed to be, like an undertone to our plea, and it turned into a limerick about bumpkins, and they didn't love that. And I think we see this turning really quickly. I throw stones, there's fires. I see, Collard with the blade kind of grinning, and realize that this is going to turn back into battle. I get out of there, back out of there, no wounds. And I also take 1 for the morale, as I think we're going to get back to what we do good, which was fighting.
That brings us back up to 8 morale.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, we're a fearsome company. Like, we make peace, and if people throw rocks at us,
Yeah.
we make
That
not
happens.
peace.
Yeah.
Um,
Howls of laughter erupt.
as everything starts going sideways and turns sour, Dermond looks to find one of the farmers that's staying the furthest away from all of it. Isn't shouting, isn't hurling anything, and with some coins in his hand, goes over and starts pitching, just to see what they have, what they're willing to give up. I got 3 3s, so got a success. So he is able to, Dermond's able to get some produce and even a few chickens that we can bring and butcher some, but he wants to try to keep at least 1, just to see if we can get some eggs out of it. Doesn't take any wounds because he just stays away from the fighting and knows that he'll be helping to nurse whoever's remaining, if they are injured, back to better health if possible. And no morale loss, because at least he was able to cook us something. We have a nice chicken soup later in the evening, which is perfect for people who aren't feeling great because they had sharp things put in their body.
I hear it's good for the soul.
It is.
And the soulless, maybe.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
chicken soup will definitely solve the cataclysm here. Don't worry, it's
100%.
totally
Yeah.
fine.
We just need
That's all we
lots.
need.
That's it. We just need a lot of chicken soup.
If everyone made chicken soup at once,
It'd be fine.
we're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just
And
need to
that's
get
all
on
it
board.
takes.
That's it.
Yeah, easy peasy.
Yeah.
Okay, so the scenes of, or the events of failure.
Yeah.
Thurman, was it?
Yeah.
Our chef manages to acquire some things. How do we want to resolve the obvious brewing fight? Do we take the long way around?
Yeah.
Does the fight break out?
I think we do fight. I imagined
Yeah.
they kind of started throwing stones. There was fire started in a way, and
Yeah.
you were kind of itching. You kind of threatened with your blade
Yeah.
that, maybe it could go
Alarm.
sour if they didn't
Never.
agree. And I feel
Yeah.
like they didn't agree, but I don't know.
Mhm.
I
I feel like
think
we go through.
Yeah, I think as things break out, Darren, who's like he only suffered a flesh wound, and like he barely, after dealing with the embarrassment, barely notices it because of what I rolled. But he begins to play the company's war tune of "Fear Our Name."
Uh-huh.
We are the band of solace, as
I
we
love
begin
it.
to like push through. So there's just that sort of raucous war tune, and at some point it fades to way to him banging on his buckler with a short sword in time, keeping the beat as we unfortunately cut through these bumpkins.
Yeah. I imagine maybe it's like some of them get out of the way and some of them are still just stubbornly stuck in, and
Yeah.
Mhm.
we just kind of keep walking forward. Maybe
Yeah.
with Allard
Yeah.
at the front.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't see us as a company. We're not anyone who runs. We let go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? But anyone
Yeah.
who approaches us is slayed upon approach.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
And
like
we
it.
tried. That's our band. We try
Yeah.
peace and then we enforce it. So
That's it.
oof. But and then at the end of it, us as a company, we feel like we are still a cohesive unit, and that like we solve the problem. Like the company as a whole feels better for it, gaining that morale.
Yeah.
But we've had to do some terrible things to get through.
Yeah.
But it's just that returning to form, as much as like, peace is what we want, violence is what we'll bring if not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So to keep us progressing, the first week ends. Ray, I'll have you read, if you don't mind,
Week 2.
week 2.
The winds speak of change, and the ground beneath you lurches more frequently as the world starts to wake up to the death of multiple gods in the cataclysm. Its effects begin to take deeper root, humanity beginning to turn inwards to weather the oncoming storm, and hope is a flickering, yet still burning candle. It looks like our events this week will be panicked and desperate.
it's gonna go well.
Totally.
First one's a 1. So
Nice.
all right.
Got it out on the chart, not on the
Yeah.
rolls. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, if we were to just assign in order, could be the Lordsworn or farmlands for the entity.
Mhm.
A 4, or if we wanted that to be the adjective, would be jaded or frightened. Potentially, the action would be demanding and charging.
If we move the 4 to the entity, we could have charging beasts, and then whatever the leftover number was.
Charging beast. So it was 1, 3, and 4.
Panicked or surviving.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Maybe.
4.
Panicked beasts.
Yeah, maybe they're
Charging?
responding
That's a pretty.
to.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean,
like
there
that.
is a bunch of half-dead people walking through, like maybe we'll say like some dense woods, maybe
Yeah.
And the world is
bunch of
changing.
dwarves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
The animals may not be so chill with everything that's going on in the world too. So
Well, especially with this like unreleased or this released magic that's probably causing like
things that change.
subtle variations. Like imagine like sharks with their magnetic sensitivity and how like that can change their behavior if that's thrown off. It could be the
Right.
same thing with the ley lines being corrupted as like bears and wolves and moose. They're all sort of driven mad by the changing tide of magics.
Some stampeding panic boars, and maybe that's death.
25
or
to
treat.
50 feral hogs.
Yeah, exactly. Classic feral hogs.
They called me Mr. Pig. All right.
All right, so no mystery on who our last character, at least for the Lordsworn, drawn.
Yeah.
So we're all drawing our last one here.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll go clockwise.
Yeah.
Again, or
Yeah.
if,
I
as long
can
as you're
start off.
comfortable with
Yeah.
that.
Yep. So this time I have the grizzled vet in Tristan. Tristan has a patchwork cloak of every banner that he's served under. He's probably only been with the company for a couple years. He's kind of moved from place to place. You also notice that the entirety of his left arm is a fully functioning bronze prosthetic limb.
Nice.
Yeah. Other than that, he does wear currently the company colors. But yeah, his cloak itself is a patchwork of a whole bunch of different colors. For his personal effect, you see on that prosthetic limb, he does have a simple gold wedding band that he wears on the on his ring finger. He doesn't talk about his wife back home all too much, but you know that he cares for her deeply, and he states several times over the journey back home how absolutely pissed off she will be if he does not return because of all the promises he made before he left.
Okay.
Equipment wise, he does have a long knife that is strapped to his side, and he does have a long bow slung across his back as well.
Nice.
Yeah. That's Tristan.
All right.
That'd
So
be good against
you
a
just
boar.
made 2 characters who can't die, otherwise we're all going to feel very sad when we do that. And we have a simple soldier who also has to break the news of dozens of people's death. Oh, great.
Oh.
Yeah,
Don't
there's a
worry,
lot of-
my character will be a bundle of
Sadness.
joy to bring us back.
I guess it's here then, yeah.
So, I imagine Wolfried was someone you all knew to be fairly friendly. They were always quick to make a joke, quick to make light of things, always to lend an extra hand around camp. They were very friendly. When the cataclysm happened, something broke. And since then, they've gone between 2 levels of crying uncontrollably, either in rage or fear, or complete quietness, almost unresponsive to anyone around them, looking off in a direction that, if you happen to know your way back home, would be actually pinpoint towards where home was. Specifically in those moments where they seem to be looking off, you would notice that they absently are rubbing a pendant, rubbing their thumb across ridges of, I'll say a dove, kind of like an embossed dove on a piece of silver. And those are the moments when they seem to be the quietest. They also have a long censer flail, so big old staff, and on the edge of it chains with a kind of bludgeoning tool attached to it that once held incense kind of almost in this reverent way, but now only smells of death. And they're real cheery.
Yeah, we can tell.
Oh yeah, sorry. And the one thing that you probably would notice is that along their flesh, especially those who happen to be like the Skald who knew stories, you'll see constantly passages of the texts of scriptures, of tales of old, appear like tattoos on their flesh before eventually kind of fading away. And that's them.
Okay.
Wolfried.
And
Nice.
almost as a polar opposite to that, you see Athalos step to the fore. Whereas we have our herald as the actual bearer of our god's sigildry, Athalos is a member of the noble houses back in Wester and is well known by all people as a stalwart sort of beacon of hope. None were surprised when he rode to war, probably upon a white steed initially, backed by money. But as opposed to being sort of haughty and sort of, lording himself over others, he's very much like a man of the people, and always had a kind word, a pat on the back for those who needed it. And even now, despite the cataclysm, Athalos remains steadfast in his intent to stand beside his comrades and keep them protected as best he can. He sort of steps forward in this well-kept, gold-plated, ornate chest piece that bears his family's sigildry of a double-headed lion carrying a lance. He's honestly just beautiful. Just very androgynous features with a long mane of red hair. That
who do you think's hair was around the herald's neck?
Gross.
He just snips them off the night. Just talk about it.
That was a brutal rejection.
Just these patches of hair missing. But as he steps forward, he sort of draws the long sword from sort of behind and underneath his purple silver cloak, draws the shield that bears that same sigil on it. And as he does so, where his heart sits underneath his breastplate, that's where that cold ethereal flame begins to spew forth from. Actually bright and seeming to have, if not cold, the absence of heat to it.
Yeah, that's very cool. Funny enough, in a way, kind of again a total opposite. You see a guy missing a lot of skin, a lot of teeth, eyes gone, back of the head blown out, and just green flame ripping out through there. You see they're wearing it's a hodgepodge of armor scavenged from the battlefields, and on the way home, just absolute like tatters. No two pieces match. They look fondly at a scrolled up piece of paper that, when unscrolled, has a wanted poster that looks very much like them but slightly off, as if someone described pretty close to what this bandit's description would be, and uses that as a badge of pride a lot of the time. He's got a huge heavy crossbow on the back and daggers around the waist, and this is Spiders Garrett, the bandit who's kind of turned a new leaf with the company and has a little bit of shaken faith, but is trying to figure out if he's going to go back to stealing or stick with the remaining friends he's got. But first, it's piggin' time. He's going to take out the crossbow.
All right, yeah, I imagine we just got a full rampage going on.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Probably right towards us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like this is very much there is a stampede, and this is a stand our ground or be trampled underfoot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Yeah.
We got like this pretty good weapons between us. Mm-hmm. I'm going to stand slightly behind Athalos there because he's got big body, big shield.
And that's kind of thing. It's like with that sort of like Gaston level smile, like stand behind me, chum. You'll be safe. Just always that like bright smile that like he's clearly used just too many crest whitening kits.
Crest whitening kits sponsor us.
Yeah.
His teeth gleam like his shield. He's like stand behind me, I'll protect you.
Nice. I imagine Wolfred in this kind of like low, almost like guttural growl towards the approaching kind of boars, and just starts like swinging the flail. Does not have crest whitening strips, unfortunately. So.
Yeah.
It's kind of like growls and like bars their teeth at them.
All right. Kind of creepy. He's not doing so good.
No, they're not having a good time.
No.
None of my characters are. I'm sorry. All right.
So we gotta do our resolution.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, yeah. Actually, we might as well just.
I was gonna say this one feels like, yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like backloaded with like what's gonna happen.
Right? Yeah.
Not a lot of prep. Like the stampede coming towards you. Like I jump.
Yeah. I'm gonna try
I would
not
like
die
to
to
set
a
up an
pig.
advanced fortification.
Yeah.
With
Better
those
than I have
rolls,
been dishing out.
Interesting.
Ooh,
Interesting.
okay,
Interesting.
okay,
Interesting.
okay.
Interesting. This could be bad.
once again, I'm gonna give myself that, and then I'm gonna give.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who would be? I guess like standing more in front.
Oh, definitely Athalos.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'd be behind him.
I would probably be a few steps back also. You know, Tristan's been around a bunch. He knows what stampeding animals can do. And he knows like this is Danger Town. We need to do something quick.
Yeah.
And you have something to go home to, so you don't want to die to pigs on the way back from the god battle.
Yeah, this actually just reminds Athalos of like when they used to go out on the boar hunts around home. Yeah, except for this time, there's no hounds to scare the boars out of hiding.
No, you have to do the whole hunt
have
yourself.
to do the whole thing ourselves. Yeah.
A Robert Baratheon situation, hopefully
Right.
not.
Oh, no.
Oh, hopefully
Let's hope
not.
not.
Oh no.
Oh god.
All right. Well, we'll see. I've given one to Ray, and I have one that can go to either Pitts or Aaron. Kind
Well,
of
I've
both.
given one to Pitts and one to you, Mark.
So I give one to Aaron, one to Ray. Why not?
Okay, so who's left?
I think I need one more, right? Yeah.
And
As
one
do
for
I.
Ray? Or one for you as well? So, okay, back to you two. All right. Easy
Okay.
enough.
And then Aaron, did you need one?
Yes, I think so. Yeah, I think just Mike did.
So I have you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So
Alright.
I'll start off. I'm gonna give myself a 3. I'm going to give Ray a 3. I'm gonna give Aaron a 2.
Okay. Sounds all right.
I
baby.
am going to give myself a 1. I'm going to give Ray a 2 and Aaron a 2.
Wow. Okay.
I
Okay.
rolled awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll give Pitts the 1.
Oh.
Marren, you get the 3, and I kept the 3 for myself.
Yep. And then you knock something off your desk.
No, I knocked it onto my desk. Okay, I want to be on my desk. That's the way I like it.
I like my desk extra wet. I've given a 2 to both Mike and Marren. Marren, sorry. And 4 to myself, because, bandits be a little selfish.
No, that's fair.
Touche.
I get it.
That is fair.
Okay, so I think we said that I would begin the resolution in this one.
Yeah.
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 So,
Okay.
That's good.
So I got 3, 2, 3. I'm going to give myself the success, take a wound, and no morale loss. So what's happening here is just not gleeful, but more in a sort of a prideful way of somebody who has been trained in the ways of the martial swordsmanship since a very young age. He just sort of steps forward and kind of effortlessly steps into the combat against these rampaging beasts. And as the boar sort of wash over the dozen of us that are fighting to get home, he just sort of pirouettes. There's he gets underneath one of the boars with the shield and just lifts it straight up and over. I imagine that Aaron's character probably knocks a bolt into it as it's up and over. It's just skewering pigs here and there. But through it, he does end up suffering a wound as one does gore him through the side. Luckily, due to the ancient family breastplate, it's more of a glancing wound, but he does take that nonetheless.
All right.
yeah, if it's me next.
Yep.
Or are you rolling your wound further, or?
Yeah, I want to see how the wound is, and it looks like he does take it in the leg. So it's more of sort of mid thigh kind of thing.
Yeah.
As a tusk kind of, it might even just be the thick bristle of the boars as they rush by, that sort of wiry hair that they have, just tearing into the flesh. But it is only a flesh wound, and he barely seems to notice it. He keeps moving through because I got 144. Not bad.
Yeah. I think kind of like following what you'd said there, as you kind of fling the one boar into the sky, I shoot it, clay pigeon style, and I'm feeling very satisfying before my slow brain realizes it's coming at me. So I use the 4 as a success to be like, I'm doing it bolt after bolt. They're all hitting. This one hits it airborne. It's falling to me. I do take a wound with one of the 2s I was given.
As it lands on you?
As it lands on me, potentially. And so I will roll that wound here. Just kind of read them out as it is. So lands on my legs. It's very painful. It's very bad. So it may take some time, but I'm not going to be able to walk as my knees crack backwards the wrong way.
Duck legs.
Sweet.
And so that will be 1 wound and 1 -1 to morale. But a success. So there's that.
Okay.
As I'm wheezing on the ground.
Really? So I got a 3, a 1, and a 2. So I'm going to take a failure on the success. So Kristen wants to try and get on higher ground, get away from these in general if he can. Isn't really able to, so he finds himself sort of in between and around where the other 2 are, to make sure that he doesn't get injured badly. I will take no wounds because, again, my wife would kill me, so I can't. However, there is a morale loss as I'm watching, some of our company have their knees go breaking the wrong way, knowing that I probably could have done better in this situation, but didn't act in time, didn't act as well as I should have. And that's a hard thing to watch. No one wants to see knees do that. And you see him kind of just turn and throw up a little bit. He's seen a lot of stuff, but it doesn't make it easier,
Yeah.
It's worse because it's like, it's one after the other too. It's like one knee, then the other knee. Yeah.
Oh, I hate that. So I'm gonna do. I think I also have a 1, 2, and a 3. So I'm gonna do a 1 on the success. So it's a failure added there. I'm gonna take the 2 for the wound, which is one of the kind of tusks, kind of like grazes pretty badly one of Wolfred's arms, but it'll heal. It looks worse and feels worse than it really is, and no morale loss. Kind of like the fighting valiantly, and there's maybe a brief moment for them of lucidity. That again, that familiarity of maybe standing beside Ray. I forget. Sorry,
Thalos.
Thalos. That was standing beside Thalos. There's almost this like memory that's trying to burst through, like that tension in water before it breaks, but it never breaks. And that moment of almost warmth kind of pushes them through and pushes through the pain of this scene.
Nice.
Okay. How did we do on successes?
So I got a success.
Failure.
So, are we? I imagine the whole company gets some pig time.
Yeah, I think we're probably like scattered as we're like overwhelmed by them, and like we break ranks. We probably end up having to spend several days trying to recover and like meet back up as a full company.
Yeah. Especially because we can't go back to the farmlands, and that's the safest path.
Yeah. And I imagine because we did lose a morale, that kind of makes sense. That there's that moment of everyone breaking, and maybe for some, it was a thought of, well, maybe it's better if I go it alone.
Yeah.
So, all right, keep it motoring. Now we got our first desperate.
Desperate, right? Okay.
Don't do badly.
Get ready.
I was waiting for you to say get wrecked because,
Oh, we're going to.
Yep.
Okay,
Where's
I have a
the-
1, a 3, and a 4. So
Options.
yeah, we've got scavengers, raiders, castle, graffitied shrine, ruins, barracks. For our entity, adjective can be lost, suspicious, feral, hungry, surviving, nihilistic. And action can be pleading and forcing, blocking, celebrating, or fleeing, resisting.
It was 134.
Yeah,
134.
kind of like the idea of doing something with a castle.
Ooh, castles are fun.
Castles are fun.
Yeah, it's a good shift.
Yeah.
We're kind of getting closer to home. We know there's nobles there, so
Yeah, we're hitting some bigger places on the way back.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that leaves us, we could do lost, suspicious, surviving, or nihilistic. The castle was lost, but we found it. No. I mean, suspicious castle.
Suspicious? Yeah, they're suspicious of us, I think.
Maybe it
Yeah.
was lost, as in it was previously belonging to our
Oh,
nation
yeah.
and no longer is.
Okay.
Like we can see unfamiliar flags,
Yeah.
and banners, and
It's been taken over. Okay.
yeah, maybe it's that kind of thing of like we're gonna have to do something,
Yeah.
Mhm.
make passageway through.
And then that would,
So
because I
resisting or
was gonna say resisting would probably make a lot of sense then, because
yeah.
they don't want to give it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe they're resisting. Maybe there's a group of other people trying to take the castle back. Even
Yeah.
Yeah.
A part of me
Wanna
thought we
make it
could
go
double interpret lost to be our band was meeting back at this. This is how we finally got back together as well.
Yeah.
So they were going back to a place that we
a
thought was
rendezvous?
ours. Yeah.
Yeah.
Find new banners on it as we get there one by one.
Yeah.
I like that, the idea that
Yeah.
like we have already had, like, if the company gets separated, we know where to meet.
yeah,
Have a fallback spot.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And then we show up, and are they freemen that have taken this place? Is it
Like other Lordsworn.
or another nation? Is it Lordsworn of another god?
Yeah.
Or is it just a bunch of bandits that have banded together to...
Time out. Go.
I mean,
Yeah, sorry.
Or-
No.
What it could be is because there are like wraiths and ghosts and stuff walking the earth, this could have belonged to them, you know,
Like some time ago.
yeah, like hundreds of years ago, and
Because
they've come
this
back
is
to
an ancient-
reclaim it.
They're home first.
Yeah.
Okay.
We haven't leaned on
You know
that
what?
stuff too much.
That's
so.
true.
Yeah.
yeah.
I
No,
like- I
no.
like
I like
that.
it.
Yeah.
It's
think
not. I
that's
mean,
good.
it's week 2, so this makes sense that
Yeah.
shit's starting to get really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no,
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, so the castle, maybe there are different banners still,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like, it
Like
looks
they're
like it's been taken.
ancient.
Yeah, like we're talking like
like ethereal banners and
spectral guards on the walls,
Yeah.
and shit, and like aggressive movements like outwards and stuff. Maybe we have to like we're trying to circumvent it,
Yeah.
but like a
Mhm.
party comes out, like a bunch of knights wearing armor that's like should be in a museum, kind of
Mhm.
approaches us as a group.
Yeah.
And not that we would ever encounter this part, but I just secretly imagined that this is like some other place did raid it, take it over, put up their banners, found out haunted house, bad deal, and it just got cleaned out. As
Yeah,
these
all the
things are
crypts open up all of a sudden and just
right.
Oh,
Wow,
no.
guys, why is this castle abandoned? The fortifications
Yeah.
just wide open.
oh god, my bones.
Oh, no. Okay, awesome.
All right, sick. We can draw.
Yeah, I actually,
yeah,
because
gotta
we
reshuffle.
reshuffled, I actually got
Yeah.
Tristan again, so I'm back with my grizzled vet one more time.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let's
I
see.
got Sergeant. You got
Okay.
Oh.
our freshly promoted lieutenant. He's
Yeah.
back.
Looks like Thalos steps to the fore. A classic castle clash.
And Spider's Garrett is right there behind him.
All right.
I'm the only one with a different Lordsworn.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I
Got the
same
game back
one.
together, except for you.
I'm your leader.
We were supposed to meet at the fallback spot. There's our leader. Excellent.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Yeah.
Hopefully she's got
Yeah.
her shit together.
We're gonna find out with these rolls.
Yeah.
I imagine though, like at this point, maybe as things are settling in, there is a certain air to her of not comfort, but more getting used to authority, getting used to being the one to say what
Mhm.
things happen rather than enforcing it.
Nice.
So I interpret that how you will, Noble Knight, on whether, you know, this. I imagine she might even just take the 4 as like, oh, I'll talk with them, brandishing the sword and being like authoritative.
I think that Athalos has a respect for the command structure, despite
Fair.
theoretically being above due to title. But
Yeah.
you know, we must adhere to the chain of command, else we are no better than animals. And lets her do precisely that, and just watches, but is at her back, at her side, I should say, as the shield, ready to intervene.
Nice, love it.
I would say that, you know, as she was going up to kind of sword brandish to try and take back this, Tristan would definitely caution against a small company such as ourselves trying to siege a castle. He's been down that road before and it did not go so hot. That's a tough fight for us to have right now, and again, he just wants to go home. He made a promise, dying in a fight, trying to beat a bunch of ghosts in a castle. Wasn't up on that list of things he thinks is a good idea. But like, he does respect, again, like he's worked for many different companies before. He's not gonna be like, you're stupid, but he's gonna be like, I would caution against this. This might not be the best path for us.
I think Spiders here would be walking up behind Tristan and tapping on his cloak and saying, I don't see those banners on you. That makes me pretty uncomfortable.
Sure, I've worked a lot of jobs.
Yeah, and then backing up
Not
his
with
point that, like, I don't know about this place. I say with, you know, glowing green eyes and fire blowing out the back of my head.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. I imagine like maybe this is like a conversation we had prior to her gallivanting towards like I'm the leader of this group. She kind of like turns to both and goes, I'm not going to try and take a castle, but kind of like gestures towards like the party kind of venturing out. I don't know if they're going to be super amicable to the concerns of our time.
I think Athalos would suggest that, like, we are representatives of Lotix. I believe that perhaps we might have some leeway with them, as they reside in the realm of our god. Dead they may be, but we understand the soul and death and the lack of peace that they may find, and perhaps we can find some common ground, and we may be able to move through this territory unscathed.
And maybe bring them some peace.
Yeah.
Noble words as always. We'll see if the gods allow them, and kind of march towards.
And just
We are
grumble,
approaching?
like, yeah, just kind of grumbling as you walk away, just like, let's see if the name of a dead god still has power.
Oh boy. Might not.
You know, with those rolls,
Oh,
I think
maybe.
Lotix might be okay. Actually,
Oh, you know what?
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna give Aaron and Ray both a 2.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Nice.
I'm gonna give a 4 for myself, and
Nice.
4 to Ray, and 3 to Pitts.
Perfect. I'm at this many.
Okay. So I'm going to give a 4 to me. I'm going to give a 3 to Pitts, and a 3 to Marren.
Okay. So I'll give, then I got to you two, a 1 to Marren. I was just at random. I haven't kept track if that's really bad or not. And 3 to Ray. And then a 4 for myself.
Look at us
we should
hoarding these
do.
spores.
But that's
Spiders.
spiders.
We're forward.
Spiders
Yep.
keeps his fours, so
Yeah.
I can't change it now.
I like that. That's his canon. All right.
Okay, I
Yeah.
think Pitts is the first one to resolve this time.
Yeah, so Tristan would immediately kind of follow up her discussions, maybe I guess kind of depending on how they're going. Just explain that calmly, we're not here for a fight, obviously, you know, with how things are. We don't you know, we have more in common with the undead than we ever have before. And maybe you know, putting the weapons down and everybody just having a calm conversation is the way to go. I got 3 3s, so yeah, everything's great. I got a success on assisting you in your conversations if possible. You will not take any wounds and there will be no morale lost.
Nice. So I have a 4, 3, and a 1. So I'm gonna take the 1 in morale to keep things spicy.
Okay.
The scene I'm giving a 4, and wounds 3. So success, everything's going fine, but there's another like kernel of doubt that's growing within Jean as she kind of approaches and sees a similar scene to maybe how the company looked maybe at once, and that reminder of a captain lost and her position kind of leading here and all of that together, even though things maybe likely are going in the correct direction and peace might even be brought here, there's this like, but the captain would have done better. The captain wouldn't have needed all the advice. The captain would have known what to do without that. Like, there's this like doubt that keeps gnawing away at every decision she's making.
I think so. I had 4 3. Yeah, 4 4 3. So I think what's going to happen there is I'll mark myself as a success. Take no wounds and give us +1 morale. And what that is, it's less that Thalos sort of like speaks up and tries to insert his own will or spin on it, but more stands beside Jean. And when he sees that she's doing well, but he can see that she's crestfallen through this. And all it is just the simple act of just hand on the shoulder. And when she looks over her shoulder at him, just that smile and a gentle grip, just a little squeeze. Like, you have this. You can speak us through, you know, this parley with the undead. And that is just communicated in that look. And he just continues to stand there stoically, silently, as the lieutenant's shield.
I like that
it.
a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I imagine that's fun because that explains the morale hit being lessened, and there's this kind of moment of like connection between you two who maybe have been in positions of leadership, and that like, thank you for shouldering some of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you do see just that, like, almost a small flare of that cold flame sort of like peek out from the chest plate a little bit. And you do notice that in that spot, the chest plate is a little more burnished than it was before.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I guess then you see spiders still standing behind Tristan, and while this is going on, he's just kind of staring distant, locking eyes with one of the specters that came to meet them, realizing how much like it he looks like, and just feeling another, you know, hit to the conscience, which is used to be a brigand, a bandit, turned, you know, company man, working with these people, turning over a new leaf in a way, you know, not needing to steal to get by, making friends. Now sees himself turning back into something maybe worse. Just not sure where he's headed. And I'm going to, you know, take the success in the warning that, you know, this banner is not on Tristan's cloak. This thing's ancient. It's not something we know, and that's really unsettling. We shouldn't be here. But I'm going to take a morale hit with the 1.
Yep.
So we lose 1 morale, but no wounds. Because
All right.
I think so far we're avoiding conflict with them directly.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be hard to have a wound here. I realize.
Yeah.
Everything
Yeah.
just said I fell over and hit myself.
Yeah.
yeah, maybe. Scared of ghosts, man.
That happened. Heart attack. If Birdie was here, we'd have to be worried about his heart
Yes.
health.
That,
Yeah, he
we
started
got lucky.
guanoing.
We got lucky.
Guano, save me.
Okay, fine. Works on ghosts. Watch.
Yeah.
Oh, not again.
All right. Great. Yeah. So another event in the bag then. And
Yeah.
Okay.
if I remember correctly, that is
That is a total of -2 morale.
yeah.
Yeah.
Even with the gaining morale, that was
Yeah.
still,
Yeah.
I think maybe the looking in
low.
the face of mortality mortality of like
Yeah.
that shakes you up.
I think it's the realization like the dead really are roaming the land, and not only are they doing so, they have agency
Yeah.
and are actually
desires, like
and
what the hell?
desires, yeah, and are taking territory. And while we were able to parlay this into a safe passage, likely only on the grounds that we have a common god, that this probably does not bode well for like the simple traveler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what? Maybe
Yep.
to explain the morale loss too, as we kind of are skirting around the castle, on that note, we see multiple like broken caravans and
Mm-hmm.
bodies kind of less strewn and like arrow filled, and it's like this reminder that maybe our specialness in quotation marks is the only
Mhm.
reason we didn't end up like all these other people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And do we deserve that?
Yeah.
Man, I'm playing John. I feel so sad.
It's
Just
perfect
channel it,
though,
channel
yeah.
I was like, who would have
Right.
thought?
So that's week
Okay.
2 in the bag, isn't it?
That's
Yeah.
week 2 in the bag.
Two in
That
the
brings us
bag.
to week 3.
Means Aaron, you gotta.
Aaron, you're up. for
We
review.
start off with what desperate now, I think.
Yeah.
Oh
Mhm.
boy.
And then omen filled.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
You want to make sure you read the our
A
intro.
little intro there. Panic and anxiety grip much of those you meet, with the roads swelling with refugees fleeing for larger, safer lands. The forests and pathways feel grimmer and darker yet, and dreams come as harsh, vivid warnings of future turmoil. Those you meet now are just as lost and broken as you. Yeah, we'll be doing Desperate and Omen-filled.
I believe I just rolled the desperate, so we're back around to the top of the rolling
Yeah.
order.
Which is me.
Yes.
All right. So. Oh, wait. We're on desperate again. I forgot.
Yeah.
I got ahead of myself.
got excited.
Go right to the next one, huh?
Well, let's go. It's spooky. Oh,
There's ravens everywhere.
goddamn birds. A 1-1 and a 4.
Ooh, okay.
So once again, we have scavengers, raiders, ruins, and barracks.
Is this exactly what we had last time? No.
No, I had a 3 last time. That's why we got the
Yeah.
castle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe.
Do
It's
we
desperate. I mean,
surviving scavengers pleading?
mhm.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe enforcing. Maybe it's like a bandit king trying to set up like a little territory.
So that'd probably be more
1-4.
raiders, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Raiders.
Kind of like,
Enforcing.
Okay.
Yeah.
and just using like that
Nihilistic,
runes
too.
as, like a,
Yeah.
Because it's 1-1-4, right?
Yeah.
And just them being, they're not sworn to any god, and our luck is definitely not going to hold up the same using our banner this time.
It's just
Yep.
the world is going to shit, so we're gonna take everything we can with us.
Mm-hmm.
you know what? So yeah, raiders maybe nihilistic, and then enforcing.
Enforcing.
And us as a company of Lordsworn, we carry a large number of valuable goods with us. Not only
Yeah.
our weaponry, but we have things that can be melted down and sold off.
Yeah, fresh pig. You know?
We got fresh pig.
I don't think it's
that was
fresh.
2 weeks ago, bud.
I mean,
I just
it's
mean, in the
aged
grand
pig.
scheme of time.
Aged pig.
I have to
Pork
imagine
really.
that he's been like aging it over the smoke of the fire every night.
Yeah,
You know.
there you go.
So we've got
Slowly.
smoked bacon. You know.
Yeah, Dermot knows what he's up to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe that's what is happening. Is that like as we're perhaps walking across or like down these roads, that we are confronted by these raiders, ostensibly on horseback even, that
Surrounded.
just they they're the highwaymen that ride out to meet us and maybe surround us, demanding our goods, sort of just giving us the ultimatum of capitulate or die.
Tomato.
Yeah.
Yep. Good thing I have my
that-
2 ultra-violent Lordsworns for our next one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That,
Really cool.
that guts.
I drew Old Faithful, so we're good. Everything's gonna be fine, everybody. We got Burt Wald.
Let's go, Birdie.
Sedgwick steps to the fore with his longbow drawn.
And so does Domination with his giant greatsword.
Oh, let's go. Colart appears, drawing the meteorite Shortell, and
Oh boy, we're getting.
they picked the wrong. This is, well, depending on Birdie. Birdie is a bit of a 50-50 on whether he's an effective fighter.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah, you never know.
I'll believe in him.
Yeah.
He did blow himself up looking at a window, so
Yeah, fortifying a window and then
Fortifying.
quickly unfortifying it in an instant. Really,
all you have to do is put a board up there, buddy. And...
Yeah.
gotta do better.
all right, I think our plan of action here is pretty obvious.
Yeah, I think we're in agreement. So we're trying to just kill, potentially fight back, get through these.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
there's like one that looks like a leader too. Maybe
Yeah,
we could,
chance of.
try and break them.
Okay.
For
I
what
mean,
it's worth.
spiders. We could say this is some bandit groups he's seen before, so there's a chance of parlay there. He's our background character right now, but as an in for some of our better
Right.
speakers now. Sweet
Yeah,
Christmas.
I did roll very well.
me neither. But that's Birdie, so that's fine.
Yep.
Oh man! And before Birdie's the only person who dies on this trip.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, I'm going to hand a 4 to Pitts. I'm going to hand a 4 to Aaron,
Ooh.
and I'm going to keep 1 for me.
4, oh, 1, not another 4.
Oh, sorry. I keep a 3 for myself.
Oh, 3. Okay.
When I said a 1, I was like, I'm going to keep 1 die. I just,
Okay. I am unfortunately going to be handing out 1s. Now, Mike, is this a 2, including one of your own?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can give me
make
1.
Sure you didn't. Yeah, I can. All right, I will give a 1 to. I already gave 1 to Marren last time, so Mike and Ray both gonna get a 1, unfortunately.
Yep.
I will give. Aaron, you've only have 1 so far.
Yeah.
Well, I'll do Marren and Aaron.
Okay.
Marren, you can have a 3. Aaron, you can have a 2.
For mine, I'm giving a 1 to Ray and a 2 to Aaron.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah.
All right.
No.
Ooh. Okay.
So I am going to play this out. I'm going to give a 3 for my morale, and
Okay.
a 1 for success and a 1 for wounds. So
Mm.
yeah,
Ooh.
No. So
If they get to 3 wounds, they're dead, right?
yeah.
dead or
Ouch.
incapacitated or however you want to play
Got it,
that
okay.
out.
But I wouldn't be able to use them again, basically.
No, they are
Got it.
removed from your deck, kind of
Okay.
thing.
And there's only one way that this resolves.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
All right, it's all good. It's all good. Sweet.
Okay. So I guess it's up to me for initial resolution, eh? Okay.
Arr.
So I got a 3, a 1, and a 1. Not
3,
great,
1,
but what I am going
cool.
to do is put the 3 into success. I'll put the 1 into wounds to take 2 wounds, and the 1 into morale.
Okay.
Mm.
A little
Oh,
spicy.
that's
there.
interesting.
Essentially, what's happening here is I think that as a soldier, Sedgwick doesn't parley with bandits. They have always been the enemy. As somebody who's worked as your general like sort of patrol around town and on the outskirts of Wester, bandits are something to be put down like rabid dogs. And as they approach, he just lets loose with a bolt from the longbow, just piercing one straight through the chest, and sort of smiles with a grim satisfaction as the cold flames sort of trail off of his hands, off the bowstrings, and sort of following the contrails of the arrow. And there's a wisp of like cold smoke from the chest of this bandit as it falls to the ground.
Yeah. Guess that's how we're beginning this.
We're off to a banging start.
Mhm.
And sorry, Ray, did you take wounds?
I did.
Okay.
So I assume that in the ensuing kerfuffle, that things are not going to go well for him, as he's using a bow in a melee situation, right?
Sure.
Or as the close distance.
If I could, I would like to jump onto that.
I love it. We already know where it's going.
Because it's Birdie. Birdie got a failure. He took no wounds, but we do get -1 morale. The way I see this taking place is eager to redeem himself. Birdie really wants to prove his magical prowess. Now he is smart and he is a learned individual. He does not want to continue using any kind of fire or combustion magic. Instead, he tries to work on the other end of the spectrum and summon ice spears that he'll be able to fling from the back. That being said, as you remember, he did get hit in the head pretty hard, and his eyes aren't quite right anymore. And you know, with age the way it is, and you know, not having glasses and all that kind of stuff, I would say that there's probably some friendly fire, and at least one does pierce Sedgwick, the only person who really helped him after he blew himself up in the end. Which is what is so crushing to his soul.
Yeah.
Afterwards.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Oh no. Which explains severe flesh wounds to my legs.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Damn, Birdie hitting the legs even. All right.
You want to go next?
Want to go, Aaron? Actually.
Mine's pretty quick, I think.
Yeah.
It's domination. You know, basically a statue of marble come to life. Doesn't know what it's like to be mortal. This is the first time in his memory that he's been this way. So huge, great sword starts cleaving through bandits. So I'm going to take the success for the task of clearing our way through. But with my other twos, I'm going to, for the first time, like not caring about my body, go into battle, and for the first time, that mattering. They're going to chip away at me, slicing away, revealing more of the black bone and flame. And then in our resolution, whether we hit a pass or fail, I think we might be leaning towards success here. Just staring down for a while in the battlefield, but just at myself. Just looking at all the black bone underneath that I never really knew was there. And I'm taking the morale and damage. So one of each gone there. But a success.
Woo.
Did we have successes from others? I can't remember.
No,
Yes.
not from me.
For
Oh,
me.
okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so we're
Okay.
trending toward it. We'll see.
Good, because I was not going to do a success. I'm going to give a 3 for morale. As again, there's that, I think for, oh no, this is color, right? For color, there's a certain quietness to their mind when they're in violence, and a closeness to the god that they have discovered and made a pact with that comes very naturally to them now. That this feels like walking in a park. There's not even like, you know, with the morality of whether to kill a bandit or not, and that like protecting the safety of others type. This is just natural for them in an unnatural way. And however, that bliss of purpose leaves them very exposed to wounds, and also very exposed to not necessarily doing things effectively. I like to think they overexpose like the line of maybe the other company who's also like other members are left open, and they're not really a team member at this point. So but the morale, they're feeling fine, and it's not really a hit to any of their sensibilities or consciousness. But definitely multiple wounds I'm gonna say just on how it is because it's 2 wounds.
Oh, I have to roll the actual wound, right? Let's see
Yeah.
what actually happened there.
Yeah.
But multiple wounds to their torso that are severe, but will probably heal.
Yeah,
within a
that's kind of what happens with Sedgwick as well, is as he takes, both glancing blows from spears and swords, as well as ice.
You know what? I probably get hit too, actually.
Yeah.
But they are severe, but it's like, yeah, you could probably walk it off with a week of rest and treatment. So it's very much that Sedgwick like falls to the back of the company for the next week and just kind of side eyes Bertie a little bit more than usual.
Yeah, Bert's not feeling great about anything he's done.
No. Neither is
God.
Domination, as the wounds are to his arms. They are bad and likely to never be the same. So he's pretty sure the marble's never coming back. Just chipped away, showing bone forearms or whatever. And
so what are we at for morale?
Yeah,
right
how many
now?
morale did we lose there? 'Cause
Oh,
I
no,
lost
right.
this
Lost
one.
wasn't-
I lost us one.
I lost one.
It's 3.
Yeah.
Ooh, that leaves us at
So
1 morale, I
we're at
think,
one
guys.
morale.
I did add on too because I did
You-
technically misremember the rule
Okay.
there, so we
Oh,
are
okay.
at 3 because we
Okay.
had twice that I remember we got a 1 that did more
Yeah.
morale.
Oh,
Gotcha.
okay.
Gotcha,
with Jean and
So we're
someone else.
getting pretty low there.
But yeah,
At
not
least we have 3.
company's not feeling very hot right now.
No.
No.
Things are very much beginning to wear. I think that we probably have a very tough fight. It's likely, I assume it's the 12 of us versus probably twice that number in bandits.
Mhm.
And we have a tough fight, and they do eventually their lines break and they retreat. But I think the company as a whole is wounded and bloody, and we've probably lost even some of our goods and supplies
Yeah.
in the raid.
Yeah.
And our walk home is going to be that much harder for it.
I
Yeah.
like that, yeah.
If we make it.
Uh-huh.
Where's your
Maybe they took
positivity,
like one
man?
of our pack mules or something.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rip.
Dermond is pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly that.
He took the
All
pig.
potatoes gone.
All potatoes.
All
All
the pig.
big gone.
Where do we find more potatoes? It's not like they just come out of the ground.
Durbin is chef, not in logistics or how to find
Yeah.
food.
Yeah.
Yeah. I believe.
All right. Well, week
Don't
3
mess it up.
opens. Don't tell me how to live my life.
Ooh, let's get Crowfolk.
Okay. 1, 3, and
Crowfolk.
4.
I'm just
Three
saying we can have
Crowfolk.
Crowfolk.
They're not real.
Yeah.
You know what?
3,
Crowfolk.
4.
That we're just gonna say Crowfolk.
Yeah, as
Oh,
a raid.
Lock it in.
Lock it
Lock
in.
it in.
Leaves us with mournful and tragic for adjective, or foreboding and heretical,
Mhm.
and then rummaging, hunting, defiling, and screaming.
I mean, hunting heretical Crowfolk sounds
Hunting,
freaking
yeah,
terrifying.
that's what I was gonna say. Hunting
Heretical. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Hunting heretical Crowfolk. I
just-
lock it in.
That's just scary as hell. And I'm assuming in this context, heretical is just completely in opposition to our god. So
That's,
Obviously-
yeah, that's a way to interpret it. Of
So
Like-
that sounds to me like a group of warlike Shikome. They are Crowfolk, but it's that they have almost like human-ish torsos with
Gross.
with crow wings and bird feet, and a sort of humanish face that sort of distends and distorts into avian features.
yeah, so real bad. Just
real
real
bad,
bad all
yeah,
over.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Excellent.
yeah.
there is nothing here that is recognizable or as wholesome or as whole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we
get
had
it.
them hunting.
Yeah.
So maybe
Hmm.
what we notice is as we're moving through, we're seeing I don't know how morbid we want to get, but
I mean, yeah, I
hanging
think I'm-
bodies of
Yeah.
other Lordsworn companies.
Mm.
Yeah, I would say
True.
defiling the dead is probably how they're going to be heretical.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. We probably see members of friendly companies that we would have known from the
Just any
battle.
Lordsworn at all. They're
I-
anti.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think for any of
Anti-gods.
us that have played Bloodborne,
Uh-huh.
we know of Sky Burial.
No, I don't remember that.
Right. So you remember that the Bloodborne symbol is like that sort of
Yes.
horizontal line or vertical line with the two like branches down. That's representative of a sky burial where someone is hung upside down with their hands like this. So I think that
a lot of that.
there's a lot of defiled corpses that are being hung from what I imagine is probably like an old stone causeway as we're making our way through, that they have taken up as their sort of airy place where they nest and feed and hunt. It's strewn all about are like ruined supply carts where they have just taken everything that is of use to them. They don't need the gold.
Is this week 3? Sorry,
this is week 3. Yeah.
This is week 3. Okay, so we're also getting close to home. So like these carts and stuff maybe starting to look, things are looking familiar here.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep, that's a bad time.
All right.
Sure is. Okay.
Maybe it's like literally like a bridge too. So like this is the way through.
Yeah.
There's no skirting
one
around.
way.
There's no like it's a stone, maybe a maintained bridge. Like thinking Romans, right? Where you'd have the proper road.
Yeah.
And get closer to quote unquote civilization. So yeah. And it's very obvious what's here almost, and not a fun situation.
No.
I think a lot of like
these bodies.
A lot of the ground is like stained red. There's probably that, like you can hear that steady drip, drip, drip being carried by the wind. Yeah, this is not good.
No.
What do we do? What is our goal here, guys?
Who do we all have? Because I have a chef.
I have our bard.
I have a chef.
I have a
cook crowfolk.
Birds back on the menu, boys.
I've got the herald.
I have a
bird messenger. So as a conversation.
That'll definitely. They'll be
Perfect.
friendly too.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Hey,
Sorry,
just
Marren,
what's up?
which character of yours is coming to the fore?
The Screaming Vindicator.
Oh yeah, great.
Wilfred.
Yep.
So,
Okay. Okay.
well, yeah, like probably just, especially at the sight of all this like hereticalness, I don't imagine they're going to be sitting or standing or waiting for anyone else. I think it is full bull rush, just going for the closest one and just this like absolute rage at. They don't even know. Like they don't even have that full concept of why they're so angry, but they are.
They just have the wrong symbol. That's all. That's all they can think. Don't know what the right one is.
Just
ours is wrong.
Blind
This
rage
bad.
will rush.
This bad.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Ray, which of your
See how that
characters is
goes.
it?
This is Darren, our bold-skulled / bard.
Yeah. Okay. Sweet.
Um,
Okay.
Yeah, I think. Oh man. I feel like Dermond is as we're going through. He has his cleaver up, but he has no way of fighting at range. So for any of the carts that are like still, along the bridge that have been abandoned because people have been taken or whatever, he's going to be looking for supplies, because since we lost so many supplies previously, he's looking to try and get some stuff back if possible, just to try and keep people fed and with full bellies. So as we're like
earmuffs,
running, that
isn't happening.
Yeah, like that I there's things I can that he knows, like there's things I can do and that isn't it. So let's get the horse blinders on and we look down and that's okay.
I think the Embald, the herald here, thinks he's like, I'll take charge with this discussion again. I've got a bird, and realizing like Marren said, that pretty much I've got a bird friend.
I own a bird. I know what I'm doing. It's fine. What I'm doing.
Stamps forward with the spear banner, and like Marren said, they're not really communicative. Language isn't really their thing, and that's become very apparent as I'm getting surrounded, and now looking to just book it. Spear now a weapon, just have a bridge. Definitely the wrong character for this moment, but this is gonna be great. He's just gripping that tuft of hair really tightly in his chest.
I think
ready to go.
upon seeing this scene, Nice. Yeah. I think upon seeing this scene, Darren is sort of overwhelmed with the stark brutality of the new reality that they're in, and really reflects on the fact that even the tragedies of yesteryear don't really properly reflect on this tragedy, or like on this brutal nature of meaningless death, and just sort of resolves to himself that like this is not a story I tell. Despite like if he makes it home, we don't talk about seeing this. This never occurred. It's one of the stories that is not meant to be told. And to that end, he begins to, again, it's that tapping out that staccato rhythm of war on the buckler, not only as a way to sort of direct the cadence of the company as they march to battle, but as a way of trying to attract and distract these crow folk into targeting him or bringing them close to the company.
Well, to war, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
Fear, and you just hear like it's the actually to that end, Darren begins to chant like "Fear our name,"
Right.
"Fear our name," and just starts tapping that out on the buckler until the company begins to chant it as we march forward to exact our vengeance on these things.
Try and drown out the cawing of these horrible creatures.
Oh,
Yeah.
like a human-ish cawing, though.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Of, like
Mimic
Well,
of both.
vocal cords with it.
It's like strained vocal cord. It sounds like a tortured person trying to imitate a crow.
Yeah.
Bad.
Oh man.
Okay.
You know what?
Remember
we-
week one when we were at a war mid?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Old guy blew himself up. Everybody laughed. It was great.
Funny, and now we're
So
fighting heretical crows.
Definitely that. Yeah, I think like that maybe.
I've made peace with my decisions.
Yeah, I think I'm ready.
That's a good indicator of what's coming from me.
Yep. Okay, I've got mine.
Yeah.
I do too.
All right. I've got my one.
Yeah, I've got my one.
And I've got my four.
Do we have a pattern to how we start this, or is it just
I can do it.
sure?
Aaron 1, Ray 2.
Okay, I got a 1.
Ray 3, Aaron 1.
Another 1. So
Alright.
I'm good. All right.
And Pitts, you gave me a 3, you said, right?
No, I give you a 2.
You gave me a 2.
I gave you a 3.
You gave me a 3, sorry. Okay, great.
Okay. Ray, are you handing yours out?
No, I'm going to keep him. It's
That's
you get a
fine.
2, and
Two.
Marren, you get a 2.
Okay.
Okay.
So who is left? Both
Me.
top?
Yep.
Yep.
Then Marren, you get a 4. Mike, you get a 2.
Okay, that's fair.
Cool. Oh, that's perfect. Thank you for that 4.
Hopefully helps.
No, it's great. Do y'all mind? You know what? I'm gonna like
Do it.
round this up because we have our first death in the campaign here.
Wait, what's happening? Hold on. Okay. I was like, I gave you a 4. You don't. All right.
You did. So I'm assigning the 4 to morale,
Oh, good idea.
the 2 to success, and the 1 to wounds. As maybe in like the, by the time the kind of like company has come together, the march, the motto is sung, everybody's kind of like actually in position, and Wilfred's like in the fray for prior to that, like just bolted from rank, and in this blind rage, by the time the company has kind of moved forward and made it to that point and fought their way, they hope, successfully across this bridge, they are already dead, or they should have been dead for like 10 seconds. They're still swinging. There's this like past the point of any form of recovery of wounds, as they're assaulted time and time again by these kind of birds or crowfolk, and time and time again taking one with them, and one gets a slash in as this like pile of bodies surrounds them, and eventually kind of collapsing one knee, collapsing the other, and looking once more towards that perfect direction of home, holding that pendant, and with the kind of last gasp of their breath, they say a single name, Sarah, and fall down dead.
Yeah.
But
Brutal.
+1 morale.
A +1 morale.
Yay.
It clears a path for us, I guess.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Okay. I think I'm going to take the 4 and put that into success. I think I'm going to put the 2 into wounds, and I think we're going to put the 3 into morale loss. And I think we have our second death.
Oh.
As our skald, Darren, just charges forth, trying to sort of set the cadence for the company, trying to keep up with Wolfred. And it's that cadence again, the clacking of the sword on the buckler does in fact draw the attention of the crowfolk that are not tearing Wolfred apart, and they direct them to him. And as he's trying to scrabble them off, and other members of the company are trying to come to his rescue, he tosses the satchel that he has that carries his stone tablet that is one of the first stories, and tosses it to Athalos, and just carry the story and tell ours, as he's sort of swept up in a storm of claw, beak, and feather. And there's that horrible screeching and cawing, and as they clear, there's nothing left. It appears that Darren has been carried off. And there's that kind of wet dripping as that bit of the flock moves away.
Yeah. Right. I think Embald, our new-faced herald, is just wide-eyed, seeing, Darren just picked apart and Wolfred kind of taken down as he chops a path through these. I got my dice are a 2, a 1, and a 1, so we're taking a failure. I'm taking 2 wounds and -1 morale, as just using the banner war spear, just trying to literally like lance joust my way across the bridge, getting pecked at and sliced at. Thankfully, they're bothered by the other bodies, and they can leave one to run.
Man,
and it's real bad.
Jesus.
All right. Dermond sees all of this unfold. He really tries to focus on just getting as many supplies as he can. Sees one member getting, torn apart. Sees another fighting past their last breath. Wants to step in, wants to do something, but knows that there's a greater good. That there's more people that need him to be able to get home comfortably. He doesn't think anybody is going to be able to take care of everybody as well as he can. I'm going to take the success, but he does take 1 wound, and although he tries to keep his head down and get his work done, there is a -1 to the morale. In terms of the wound itself, as much as so many of the crowfolk were being drawn away from him, there are still a couple that do find him, and they do leave gash marks along his chest. They're bad, but with everything else that's going on, he barely notices it and is able to ensure that it's treated and it doesn't affect his life severely going forward.
Man, now if I'm not mistaken, we are at 1 morale left.
Yeah. And I have not gotten that far.
Yeah.
It's the beginning at the point of the crowfolk.
Man, I mean, honestly, it would be a logical point.
I have no idea how we're pushing through. Like, I have a couple days through this shit.
Man.
Yeah, pretty rough.
I think that what happens is that, like Thalos like unwraps this satchel and sees that this is a stone tablet of the first stories, and understands that this is a treasure that like must be preserved, and resolves to get it home. And I think that the rest of us are just, we try to pick up what we can and just wordlessly carry on. Like what else do we say?
Yeah.
You know,
We agreed this was earmuffs. This didn't happen.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly it. God damn. That's what happens when you guys let me roll on the omen filled chart.
True.
I was gonna say, we were so
That's a good
like
point.
we were ready for this event too. Like we
Yeah.
were all like let's go, like we're good. And
War
then
characters,
Yeah.
and just
2 characters die, morale just plummets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. You know what I'm getting right now? I'm getting Darkest Dungeon vibes.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
thinking
You know, when
that
you
too,
just
a little
get
bit.
that
yeah.
one bad fight where half the party dies.
Yeah.
Like, everything was going swimmingly, and now, whoops.
I mean, we
shouldn't
went
have
from
opened the
pretty sure
book.
like 4 to 1. Like
Yeah.
like it was a steep decline.
Yeah.
Whew.
And we're in our final week here.
Yeah.
And I
Oh, yeah.
believe-
Make it home.
Well, for week
Um,
4, the world cries out in agony, and once human shapes twist and deform. While home is closer than it's ever been, it feels like the road ahead is longer than it's ever been. None you meet will give you anything but a blade in the gut or inhuman howls. Stick close to one another and tread lightly, lest you join the monsters you see stalk the fringes of your camp at night.
Cool. I mean, so I guess the crow people were just the beginning of
Yeah.
people changing. And it's much worse.
Now I'm getting
Awesome.
like that Bloodborne vibe of like the blood sickness and how like people begin to change during the night of the hunt. And,
Yeah.
Yeah. The moon.
Aaron, that's your event to roll,
Oh,
man.
I'm rolling on Omenfield? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So
lead,
Pitts gets the apocalyptic roll.
Yeah, if we make it to
Theoretically.
apocalyptic,
Yeah, hold on.
That's
Yeah.
true. If we make it.
yeah, we can't lose 1 morale. So there we go.
Ugh.
Yeah.
It's a 1, 2, and a 3. So
No joke.
Revenge.
Oh, I
Yeah.
gotta say, I love the idea of profaned ones or
Mm.
twisted wildlife.
profaned. Yeah, I was thinking all 3 there on that backwards L. The hungering one, twisted wildlife, profaned, all feel like very attached to,
Yeah.
shifting bodies. So
Mhm.
oof. I feel like, I mean, we already had boars, so maybe we have too many animals already.
Too many
Crow.
25 to 50 wild hogs. Again.
yeah. Maybe the profane ones or something. Okay, so
Maybe
Hey,
that.
maybe the
We have a
boars
1
got our scent
one and
and they've hunted us.
Oh no.
I like the
1 and
profane
2.
ones, and like maybe
Profane
it's
ones.
like I don't know if anyone's played Dark Souls 3. We just keep bringing up FromSoft, which
Right.
makes sense for
I mean, it's the
anything I
aesthetic,
do.
right? It's
Right.
perfect.
But there's like it's like these monsters that like have a cross attached to them. And you mentioned that the
Oh,
upside
yeah.
down. Maybe
Yeah.
they've gotten free and they're just
Okay.
dragging that along. Like these people who have been they can't even become just like the restless ghosts and
Yeah.
wraiths
so
that we've encountered constantly. They are
decaying then, because we
Yeah.
have a 1. There's decaying, 3 for the profaned ones,
yeah.
and then 2. I guess potentially, if we have decaying,
Be lumbering.
lumbering or oppressing. I guess. Yeah, lumbering, decaying, profane.
Lumbering could be like a bunch of them behind us. Like it's like
Yeah.
classic zombie of horde versus like speed.
Mm.
Yeah, and kind of slow because they are all wearing their dead crosses on their backs.
Yeah, it's not the lightest.
You know what
Yeah.
this is that this is our tired company. We're trying to make our way home. We need rest, but now
They just keep walking.
we have to keep moving because this lumbering horde will catch up with us.
And they're just getting bigger and bigger behind us.
Yeah, as the unrestful dead just begin to gather. What is it? When hell is full, the dead will roam the earth.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they're beginning to. Okay,
Yeah.
great, cool.
I mean, yeah, the gatekeepers are dead. What are we gonna do?
Yep.
Yep. Quite literally.
Sweet. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Let's,
I hate this. Let's find out.
Yeah, we're
I
just
have
trying
to
to like.
shuffle my deck now because I have a dead character.
All right. Yeah.
Yep.
We used all of ours, right? Either way,
Yep.
I'd be the second
Yep.
shuffle. So.
And just make sure, obviously, you've removed, not obviously, but that you've removed your dead character from your deck.
Yep.
Bring out your dead.
Dang.
Oh no. Okay.
Oh, this will be fun.
Don't tell me it's Birdie again.
You
I
better
swear to
believe it.
God.
Old man.
Come on,
Bert.
Birdie. It's the redemption arc.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. We have Sedgwick, who is like only barely recovering from the wounds to his legs, stepping beside Birdie, like
Oh, not
point
you.
forward. Oh no. Okay. Who else do we have?
We got
oh.
Spiders Garrett.
Spiders is back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jean, she is
And
back
Jean.
as well.
Okay. Oh boy. Okay.
I like when Pitt's face disappears off the screen in his hands. That makes me very comfortable for the sequence about to happen.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like to get the rolling done early. So.
Yep.
Sorry, wrong 6. It's actually Fading Avatar. He's the spade.
Okay.
Oh,
Ooh.
sick. Great. Well, I've got mine assigned.
You know what?
Oh,
I'm
your
gonna try
dice.
and things a little bit.
Who else is in it? I missed it.
Birdie.
I have Jean.
and
She's in it.
Sedgwick, our soldier.
I imagine for Jean, she is trying to rally, kind of like a last ditch, like breaking through. Maybe it's like that they're behind us, but there's a group in front. So it's that kind of question of like, we have to go through here because we can't, like, we can't slow down. So it's like you got to break through a blockade of them.
Well, I have to imagine too that like as we're getting close to home, because we are close to like our Great Divide, and we know that like this is a rain heavy area, which says to me that we're probably in a marshland. Which is why we have to go through, because on either side we have that thick, reedy marsh. So the road is blocked, but it is our only way. So we have to cut through.
I love it. Yeah, because we know if we go into the marsh, they'll catch up from behind.
Yeah.
Because
and I imagine this is also very drawn out. Like we can't sleep. There's no rest.
No. This has been days in the making. Like this is the broiling point, but this has probably been the last 3 or 4 days. Probably, I imagine 2 days after the run-in and we lost members of our crew, that we began to hear the screams and moans of the unrestful dead getting closer and closer. And on the 3rd day, they're on the horizon, and on the next day, they're closer. And just this is it. It's now or never. We have to break through.
It'd be nice to have a mule, at least one, to carry some of us.
More like Durbin is just doing his best, making like cooking as he walks.
Just mortar and pestle. Like oh man. Okay. I'll dole out my dice first, I guess. We're gonna give a 3 to Birdie, and a 2 to domination.
Okay.
And I'll keep a 4 for myself.
Then I will give actually it's a 3 to both Marren and Ray.
Okay.
Smart.
Smart.
And a 2 for myself.
Okay.
I will give a 4 to Marren and a 1 to Ray.
Okay.
All right, sorry. I have a 4. Remind me of your characters again. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Bert. I got Bert.
Birdie and
Domination.
Domination.
Don't give it to me.
I want Birdie to have the redemption arc, so I am going to give that. I'm sorry, Domination, but I gotta give Birdie the time to shine. So a 4 to Birdie.
Okay.
A 1 to Domination.
Jeez. Okay. Amazing. Yeah. Okay. Well, here we go.
Ooh. Okay.
Oh wait, no, sorry. I
fine.
forgot positions I had for that. I'm taking the 1. You're taking the 4 there, Dom.
Oh, so we both get a 4.
Well,
Us 2.
yeah, I put the
Okay.
tokens and then
Mm. I'll take
I'm
it.
sorry.
No,
That's okay.
I'll take it.
I was mixing up the morale, but yeah. So I've got the 1. You've got the 4 was in the menu.
Okay.
I have an idea of where am I putting that 1.
Mm. Yeah, what am I doing?
Okay. I know. Now I'm gonna let you guys go first. I know what's happening with Sedgwick though.
Okay, so if we lose morale, we're out.
Mm-hmm. But remember, it's a plus minus, right? So I think it's like whatever we end up
pluses
with.
first.
Yeah.
Like we'll sort it out. Yeah, if anyone knows.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Do it.
So
let's go, Birdie.
Birdie takes a look at the scene in front of him. Gambling, terrifying, undead. Looks at the scene behind. Kind of worse. Knows what he's done to his comrades. Seen what's happened to previous people. Other people of our company. Saw what happened at the war. And decides he can do good. He can do one good thing. And maybe he can cast one good spell. Just one. He wants to clear a path. That's what he does. I'm going to take the success in a 3. As you see, he reaches around and unties the cord that the ring sits on. And he puts the ring on his finger. He begins to take on this odd blue glow. And kind of looks at everybody and says, "Just get home safe." And as fast as his old man legs can take him, begins to hobble forward into all of these, shambling monsters ahead of us. You see the light itself begins to glow. You lose him in the crowd and everything ganging up on him. And then you hear like a sizzle. And then you see a very familiar, and this just eruption as fire ignites from inside of him. He takes 2 wounds. Birdie is gone.
Birdie's gone.
R.I.P. Birdie.
But seeing hopefully a path cleared ahead of everybody, we do gain a morale back.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. I might jump in then because that fits perfectly with what
Perfect.
Jean was gonna do.
I hope we all didn't do the same thing because I'm right there with you.
Probably we're all. Well, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Seeing this kind of like noble sacrifice of Birdie, seeing the path forward, and filled with a sudden reminder, a memory, a voice of the captain, of someone that knew her unlike anyone here would, and their voice saying a completely different situation of "you can do this," and looking around this company that has barely held together, and to that same cadence, to that same march, the motto kind of erupts from her throat of "fear our name," and kind of builds it again and again as once another member had. And in his memory kind of charges forward. Flamberge just kind of slicing and dicing any of these stragglers, trying to clear and keep that path clear for the whole company to move forward. Taking 2 wounds in the process, surviving, but severely wounded.
So I will jump in there if you're all right.
Mm-hmm.
What's happening, I think, is as Birdie begins to move forward with that sort of stoic determination, I think there's a moment where Birdie and Sedgwick both lock eyes, and they know that this is it. And as Jean is finding that cadence and that rhythm inside herself, Sedgwick looks at her and he pulls the cord of crests off of his neck and rips the crest from his own shoulder and hands it to her. You know what must be done. And he grabs the long sword and, taking up that cadence, fear our name, fear our name. He turns and he charges to the oncoming horde from the behind or from the rear. And as he moves forward, the last of his flesh sears away in that cold flame until there is only a flaming skeleton of rage and vengeance rushing into this oncoming horde of undead. And there is a storm of flaming violence in the back, but eventually even that is overwhelmed and extinguished as Sedgwick takes his final wound and passes. But that heroic sacrifice does additionally add in +1 to our morale, knowing that the company will see its way home.
No.
Jeez.
Again, I gotta say, I'm loving how like the last 2 weeks have just been this like nonstop gut punches, and the
Yeah.
first 2 weeks were like, we gotta deal
All
with
good.
pumpkin.
Yeah.
Gosh darn farmers.
So Domination, he sees that. He sees Birdie, the idiot wizard who nearly killed himself in that warm inn, and he sees Sedgwick, the soldier who's trying to prove himself. Both go out, opening paths forward. And the fading avatar, Domination, is feeling things he's never felt before. One of them is weariness, and he doesn't care for it. And so he turns around, joining the chant, fear our name, as he draws up that giant greatsword, almost more of a club, and just starts piling through them as they chip away at that marble. And he takes his last wound.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
But does so trying to, again, hold back anything left, any of the remnants left after the explosion and the efforts of our captain and Sedgwick. And we gain 1 more morale.
Not even a problem anymore.
Not even a
I was
problem.
gonna say, I'm pretty sure every one of us, which is perfect for how that scene
Yeah.
played out. That
It's
event,
because
but-
we all knew we're like, we have to put the force
Yeah.
into morale,
Yeah.
otherwise we are toast.
Well, I think
Yeah.
we're all worried. Like I was like, maybe someone puts one in, and if someone
Yeah,
puts
right.
one
Yeah.
in, like I gotta counterbalance it. So,
Yeah.
All right.
but,
Ooh.
yeah, that's that.
And I think that at that, it's just, again, there's the rest of the crew just, they break through. I think we just run.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I imagine like it's led by Jean and like the only one who didn't die. This whole Fen,
Yeah.
she leads like the broken and kind of battered crew through the, and I have to imagine it's that scene of like you're moving through, you're pushing through, and you look back, kind of hoping against that gut feeling that Domination's going to come with you and that Sedgwick's going to be there, and you know,
not so much
Birdie,
Birdie.
maybe
It's fine.
I feel that, but Birdie exploded, but maybe Birdie had put up this protective. There's like that hope against hope that they're gonna
Mhm.
be there, coming behind, and all you can see is that hole that we punched through is filled.
Yeah.
And that horde of these things once again marching behind us on the horizon.
Bad time.
And yet our morale is higher than it's been for most of this.
Yeah. Because home is so close.
We
Yeah.
have lost fully half of the company.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
uh,
that's
Six.
rough.
6 Lordsworn have died, only 6 remain.
oh man.
And that's our final event coming up here now too.
Yeah.
It's
Who's
Yeah.
rolling for this?
It's-
Is
Oh, it is me. Oh,
yeah.
oh, friends, this is bad.
Well, for
Apocalypse.
this, it's just the flavor of the bad, right? It's the next roll that's the really bad part.
Mhm.
no.
We have a 1 and a 2 and a 3.
Okay.
I think we just did.
Oh no! I know what you need to pick. I know what you need to pick for the entities.
What?
Oh no! I think-
Come on, you have to see it.
I mean, I personally love the sunless ones. I know there's some really good ones in there.
Is it the undead Lordsworn? Is
It
what
is
you're
the
thinking?
undead Lordsworn is what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
All
Yeah.
the members of our own group.
All the other half, yeah.
yeah, joining
don't
the
hate
horde.
that.
Yeah, it makes the most sense.
It's the most tragic of all of those
That's
options.
exactly it. That
Yeah,
in this state, even heroic sacrifices are turned to nothing but ash and mud.
Yeah.
We think it was this heroic walk, and you can clearly see the shattered and charred remains of Birdie, the black skeleton of
Yeah.
domination,
Yeah.
and the armored zombie of Sedgwick.
But yeah, these like flaming skeletons approaching on the horizon, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Ugh,
And I,
We could
maybe
give them
because-
mighty and. Oh no, that wouldn't work.
yeah.
I'm trying to think
Well,
of.
So what we have a 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
We could do furious. Maybe there's a kind of anger to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were sacrificing, so that's already.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
mean, yeah, they sacrifice, but there can be regret and there can be anger at that situation.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that would leave, what would our action be?
Well,
Battling?
no, it's a 1, so sacrificing or ambushing. Could be an
Oh.
ambush.
And then 3
Maybe.
for
Maybe
Three
the
would be
lumbering
furious or
horde.
mighty.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because maybe that
Yeah.
horde that was following us like abates for a while, so we're able to rest at one point. But
In the
These, like,
night, we get
reverence.
ambushed.
Yeah.
Mhm.
by
we-
fallen comrades.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think that's what it
I like
is.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
that's with our well, I guess you guys have options. I only have one card left.
Same,
Yeah.
same.
I
Yeah.
got 2.
Ooh.
Caller is mine. Yeah. I mean, we're ambushed. I imagine it's got to be. There's not a lot of prep. I think it's
No.
just frantically
Yeah.
trying to grab
Battle
what
and
we can,
run.
Yeah.
rally, maybe even just running at this
Yeah,
point.
it's
Just-
that like dirty campfire like scrum
Mhm.
Yeah.
where there are people shouting. There's that complete bedlam of undressed soldiers trying to get ready for battle.
Yeah.
You know, some are not even in their armor. You know, they're fighting in their skivvies as we try to fend off these undead.
Also, I pulled Dermond. I have my chef again.
Yeah. This time I'm actually spiders.
Okay.
Welcome to the table, actually, spiders.
Actually spiders.
And wasn't that a movie, Spiders? Actually,
Yeah. So many spiders.
Sequel to Love, actually.
exactly.
Yeah.
Wasn't as big of a hit, surprisingly.
No,
this
weird.
round
Yeah,
previous to
odd.
watch,
Weird. It was
but
actually a crossover with Eight-Legged Freaks.
Right. Yeah.
a bold direction that didn't pay off.
A complete waste of time, said Siskel and Ebert.
All right. Yeah, I think as far as like responses and reactions to the scene, it's for Collardus grabbing the Chotel that they probably sleep next to and just with the other arms grabbing different objects, weapons, spears, sticks, and just going full like
Yeah.
what's the Mortal Kombat? person does it, the-
Goro. Yeah.
Like just full on like
All right, you have
You know,
4
full-
arms. I always forget
Yeah, the
that.
4
Yeah.
arms.
it hasn't come up as much when you
No,
only
yeah.
got
That's
one-handed
weird.
weapon.
No one talks about his
Like-
arms. Why not? Everyone's just
Call
like,
it
yeah,
that.
that's him. Yes.
Yep.
Something
Just
weird
the 4
here.
arms.
Yeah, I think that what's happening with Athalos is that Athalos is one of the few remaining that's actually fully dressed. And in that no one has ever actually seen Athalos outside of his armor.
Yeah.
I love
It's
it.
just, yeah, he's just always in it, like, and everything is always pristine on him. It's kind of annoying,
Yeah.
you know. But even in this situation, like his breastplate is like shining with the light of the fire, almost like a beacon in the dark, and it's both morale boosting and aggravating.
Yeah. He's noble. He's genuinely noble.
Yeah,
We
Spiders
get it.
just
You're a
spits out a
good
tooth.
that's exactly it. It's like that. We get it. Okay.
guy. Yeah.
Oh god. Yeah, and then over your shoulder. Oh fuck.
Oh man.
Uh.
Okay. I think
Yeah.
You know what?
I've got mine.
I got mine.
Yeah.
who only has one character remaining.
I've got both.
I've got
You've
both.
got both. Okay, so it's just Marren and I. Okay.
Oh, I wonder who's getting the bad rolls.
Um,
I know.
Metagaming. Never heard of her.
Never.
Okay, that's that. Okay, I'll hand a 4 to Aaron.
A 4 to me?
Yep.
I did
And
not see that coming.
And a 2 to Pitts.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. So I got those two. I have a one for me. Not a number one, a 4 for me actually, because Bandits keeps his 4. Spiders keeps his 4s.
Bandits, the spider. I mean,
Yeah, I will give a 3 to Ray and a 2 to Marren. I think to give everyone up to 2 here.
Yep.
Where are we getting there?
I will give a 4 to Aaron.
Whoa.
I know. And a 2 to Marren. I think that's the way.
Is there
Wait, why
is
did
there
I
one
go-
missing or?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
no,
need
so
something.
it's Pitts and I each get a die.
Yeah, sorry, I realized that awkward silence was me again. Yeah, so
Sure, you
I'm
should.
going to keep my 4,
Good call.
and I'm going to give we have a noble. Yeah, sorry, the 1 to the noble knight because I just cannot see the dirty little call helping emote at all in this situation.
True.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
2,
that's true.
my 2 to you, Pitts.
All right.
A caller kills a few that are around the chef.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Yikes.
I think in this case, you actually see that despite his apparent preparedness, that once the sort of like flaming skeletal figure that he recognizes to be Sedgwick appears like out of like the marsh reeds, like I guess almost out of the like where they like the cat o' nine tails or whatever they are, like the marshy reeds. He's so taken aback that he actually like stumbles backwards and is completely stunned in this instance and ends up failing in his efforts to try and defend the camp, but takes no wounds or morale loss in that by signing those 3s. Just kind of has a moment where he hunkers down and for the first time has a moment where his bravery fails him and finds himself not so much hiding but just unable to fight back.
I think Spiders standing behind both Athalos and Mike, who's your character right now? Is it
I have Dermond. I have the chef.
Dermond again.
Yeah.
So definitely standing behind these ones of Athalos the most, sees this moment, and as you kind of like fall back, is standing ground a little bit and just firing bolt after bolt after bolt, like through kneecaps, anything to stop them from moving. Just feeling like if he can falter, why can't I just succeed for once? Just be the guy that takes up arms and doesn't run, doesn't hide, and just keeps firing. I have 3 4s, so success, no wounds, +1 morale, and I'm just yelling and firing off as many bolts as I can before laughing at the undead horde and running for my life.
Well, Dermond. Dermond is running around with this 2-hand cleaver, just trying to protect himself. He's not, the strongest fighter, and he knows that. That's not his job here. He's doing what he can to try and protect himself, but seeing all the people that he had cared so much for and was unable to save, to help, to assist. It's a mad scramble to get away. He probably spends a fair amount of time hiding from the actual fighting and only really attacking when someone gets too close. He does take a wound, but luckily the wound isn't too bad. This one is on his arms, which are already badly burned, so definitely could be worse. But he thinks he'll be able to walk it off. But that does bring him to 2 wounds, so he's not doing the best ever. And we do unfortunately get -1 morale as well.
Well, where are we? Just about half? So,
Yep.
Right.
And I imagine, because again, I just like killing my characters. I realized I had 2. When you said who has 1
Okay.
left, I
I
realized
was like, Marren, what are you doing? Don't kill your last character.
We're going for it. No, I'm like, right.
I was like, the
have
creator's
to
just going to tank us. Okay, all right.
Yeah. Sandbagging it, maybe. No. There's this moment of Collar where they look around, they look at these shambling masses of green flame that were once their comrades, and their conviction falters. They can see the writhing kind of serpentine forms below their skin. They see the arms sprouted, and there's this moment of like lucidity in the battle where they look around and they look and they see what was wrought by these gods, and they wonder, well, what good would these outer gods, these ones who say they're better than them, be? And that moment, that break of conviction, that break of, have I been actually doing what I thought was right? And a clear way of saying, no, I can do right now. And maybe Drummond, you notice it, maybe you don't. But before you were about to be struck down at one point, Pollard steps between. You maybe don't even see as just a large gash across their torso. And wordlessly and silently, no words, no final requests, as they're just bleeding out, they look up to the stars and they swear they could see one of them go out. And they collapse dead.
Damn. Intense.
Damn.
As we all survive, I think.
As a company, but boy,
Yeah.
not much of one.
I just want to point out one little thing to break the fourth wall just a bit, is that, as you said, the star goes out, our music faded out.
Yeah.
True.
Always fun.
Great.
There was another point where it stopped, I think, as someone died too. It was like
really?
that timing of like serendipity.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, so I guess we reach Wester.
Yep.
The surviving 5 members of our company.
I imagine maybe in the morning, with the horrors of the marshes behind us, the road ahead, we'll find out actually how Wester is doing.
Yeah.
But we clearly see it in the horizon. Not even the horizon, we clearly see it before us. That familiar kind of canyon.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we enter into the final phase of the game. This is the epilogue phase, which we enter in barely as a success. So we'll be rolling on the saved endings, which are slightly different than the forgotten.
Okay.
Mostly in just that our Lordsworns have an epilogue.
Okay.
Who would like to do the honors of
I was
rolling?
gonna say I had an interesting thought here. It doesn't work because there's 4 of us, but if we each rolled one of them, of the sections and subsections, or we just took whatever we all rolled, and whichever number we rolled the most. If we all rolled a 1, we go for the 1.
What we could do is there's actually a D4 roll to see which of the endings we get. And
that's
then
what I mean.
3D4.
Like even that, we as a group,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like take the average.
all roll and see the one we get the most.
Okay.
Yeah.
If
So-
maybe it doesn't work.
let's find
We'll
out.
find out.
Let's all roll like 1d4, yeah?
Yep.
1, sure.
All right.
Oh, I rolled a 1. That's why I'm holding the 1 up.
2.
The 1.
The
that's
1, of course. Welcome
That's
to Casual Ones, everybody.
We are healing that.
Oh, that's true. Brandon.
There you go.
So that would mean and I'll read the sections actually, I realize.
Yeah.
Just to fully contextualize, but you crest the final hill, turn the bend on the mountains you knew like the back of your hand, or break through the dense forests. And finally, you see your home once more. The sigh of relief throughout your company is felt, and in a brief moment, you see the future that awaits your world. And we got the healing.
Ah.
It will take time, but your world will return to some semblance of normalcy. Scars will always remain, but bones will heal, bruises will fade, and gods will once again rise to shape the world.
Okay.
Kind of the good ending.
Kind of. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, not that I'm biased, but all right. And then do we want to just do that for each of the end of the prompts and just let that be in order? Normally
Yeah.
we would pick, but I kind of like that it's like
Yeah.
a group thing.
Sure.
It's not fun.
Our fates combined.
Yeah. This
Roll
is
a
not the
three.
rules.
And there's
But-
3 more, right? So we each have
Yep.
one more die for each of these. Okay.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Natural
So
threes.
So
Hits and I are
Oh.
just aligned.
Yeah.
We're in sync. It's good.
Okay. The
Three.
3.
yeah.
So, I guess I'll take narration for these.
Sure.
If that's
Sure.
I think easiest.
Absolutely.
Sorry. The dark sets in, but you know that against all logic, the morning will come. During your troubled journey, how has your home held out against the oncoming night? And we got a 3. Surviving. Gritting its teeth against the pain, your home will endure the healing process as stoically as it can.
Nice.
As
So
I place it.
probably Wester's looks okay
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
as we crest that kind of final hill as we see it and we go, this is home as we remember it.
People
Just
are
a-
doing the classic migration away
Yeah.
from
The normal amount of
crevice.
landsliding is happening. Nothing
Yeah, just
crazy.
normal.
But I think what might happen is that as new territories are carved and new fiefdoms are fought over, I think maybe Wester becomes a place of recognition for that stoicism, and the Stone of Reconciliation becomes a place where not only our clans create peace, but many clans come together to have a discussion, and Wester becomes a place known for diplomacy
Pilgrimages and
and
stuff.
pilgrimages.
Yeah.
I like that, like a peacekeeping kind of vibe.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, we'll
Somehow we
see.
did it.
Now we get to see the fate of our company.
Mm.
What happens to the Band of Solace?
That's
You
another
guys
three.
have top 3.
Yeah.
The Fate Masters.
You know, you
That's
guys just stop
amazing.
rolling. This
I know,
is,
right? What are we doing here?
I mean, it's not the worst to get higher rolls here.
Mm-hmm.
None will deny that you, as Lordsworns, have suffered the most. Broken, battered, and bruised, just like the world. But it is how you heal from the trauma that makes you, you. What is your role in this time of grieving? We got notable sorts. Among those within your home, you brush shoulders with movers and shakers. Your present influence is recognized by some, your past actions by all.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I imagine that like our chef becomes someone who is known for like feeding the pilgrims.
Yeah.
That all come to Wester. Desire to eat the food that sustained the Lordsworns on their journey home.
Yeah.
I think Spiders is probably the head of some guild and is actually like probably turned a total page.
Yeah, like did not go back to thieving at all.
It's like a carpenter.
right.
Just,
Yeah.
just a
Just
good,
something
honest
totally
tradesman.
regular.
Yeah.
As long as I can work with a knife, I'm happy. I just don't want to
Yeah.
stick people anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's good. He's the wood carver.
Yeah.
And I think that
Yeah.
Athalos, his there was that moment of weakness, but I think it gave him more respect for the sacrifices of the normal people, and is probably moved to use a good portion of the family value to help enrich Wester as a whole, founding schools and creating programs for the poor, and just understanding that it takes everyone to work together.
I like it.
I think one thing is the herald Embald.
Oh yeah.
You, Athalos, notice him one time sleeping through your house, sneaking through in the dead of night, and you realize that the lock of hair wasn't yours; it's for your sister. And he sneaks out as you catch him closing the door as he exits.
Damn.
The herald, that sneaky little bastard.
Sneaky little bastard. And Thaus is almost a little like upset that it wasn't him.
Just one less like idolizer kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's never had rejection in his life.
Right.
It's not a
Doesn't know how
nice
to handle
feeling.
it.
Yeah.
Tristan hangs up the sword. He's done. He's seen too much. He just settles down with the wife and just starts getting into farming.
That
And
was
birds,
one
because he's
yeah.
old. He likes birds a lot now. He doesn't know when that
That's just
happened,
one
but
last battle. Yeah.
Yeah. Every
Love
once in a
it.
while, a half-dead bird flitters to your windowsill
Aw.
as the Embald's messenger
no.
recognizes you.
Any other world that would be disturbing, but like
Right.
it feels sweet here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine it's my only character, Sergio. She, depending on what the role is for the next table, might determine it. But I imagine with this newfound conviction and this newfound understanding of leadership and almost having like proven herself, goes right back into it, forming a company or reforging this one, and continues on being that kind of soldiering life. I don't think she knows anything outside of it. So
yeah.
we'll see though if
Finally
you guys join
confident
her.
and capable. Yeah.
I imagine she just eventually like grows into the Quiras and like it begins to feel comfortable and familiar to her.
Mm.
Right?
Yeah,
It's no
as the
longer a
muscle
burden.
builds. Yeah. No, I like that actually. Yeah, like just bulks up into like this kind of, maybe before she wasn't a soldier quite the same way, and like now that with this kind of trials and tribulations and success of the company that she gets into, it's just the cuirass fits.
Yep.
That's like, I like that. All right,
Yeah.
final time, everybody roll. We gotta
time.
figure out what happens to our bonds as a group.
Oh, we're so close.
We did it. We did it.
Null usurped.
4 bonds
I
for the
love it.
win. I hated that.
All right. And then our last prompt here. The bonds of survival run deep, but so does the pain of trauma. As the world around you slowly knits itself back together, how interconnected are the lives of surviving company members? And we rolled family. No one knows the pain you have all experienced. Together, you are more than a company, but a true family. You each cared for one another until all of you could stand proudly once again.
Wow. So we really did get the good ending.
Yeah.
You did, yeah.
Yeah,
This is actually
really
as
did.
good as it could have got.
Yeah, it was falling. It was getting pretty dark there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We were
week
on the
3
ropes.
was rough.
It is
Yeah.
always darkest before the dawn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that the quick things for my two then is that Embald has the feather marked helmet of our company, leaves it at Jean's doorstep, and it's clearly his, like the one he would always be wearing.
Yeah.
So a return knowing that he is out, but wishes her luck on creating the new company. And Spiders gets bored of carpentry. As soon as he knows that some of his friends are back at it, he follows that itch a little bit. But taking hopefully more of a supervisor role, managerial instead,
Yeah.
if he'd be taken for it.
It goes into logistics instead of frontline.
Yeah.
It's a really good way of making sure we always have food somehow, even though others reporting their caravans are missing
Yeah.
some. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, now protecting the goods instead of stealing it. You know,
Yep.
what a turnaround.
Nice.
Look at this lad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think that. Oh, go ahead, Pitts.
Sorry, I was gonna say I think Dermond, ahead of the company getting back together and potentially going back out, holds like a family dinner, like once every couple weeks, has everybody from the company over, feeds them and nourishes them, as he wants them to see the best versions of themselves again, and this is how he helps try to enable that in people.
Nice.
Eventually, if the company does set out again, he does agree that he will go out and continue to cook and feed for everybody. Tristan is a little bit more reluctant, I would say. He's really He's up there in age. He tries to offer more sage advice and wisdom at this point in his life than actually going out and
He works from home.
He's our consultant.
Yeah, he's a consultant.
You know what? You know what I realized? He's the Scott Lang character, right? Like, if you guys ever watch like Into the Badlands, or he was the guy who was the general in Avatar, like that big, tough, scary old man.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
It's probably like him, where he's like, "I'm retired, but I could still kick your ass."
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe he's like our trainer back in Western. Takes the new recruits, keeps him close to his wife and his new life without risking his other limbs for war.
Yeah, I think Spiders would join Dermond and help him get that piggin done. He was so successful with his new knee braces, I guess.
Yeah, I think.
Oh yeah.
I think with Athalos, it's the notion of family becomes very real, as I think Embal ends up actually marrying his sister sometime down the road, actually creating that tie. And when there is a call to ride out once again to either bring peace to the land or whatever the case is, Sean is the shot caller, but Athalos is there as her lieutenant, as her second, to continue to be her shield as they try to help the land around Wester Heel.
Nice.
Love it. He becomes her lieutenant rather than her being lieutenant. That's fun.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah.
And every once in a while, some of the gang gets back together to clear some of the endless horde of cross-bearing zombies. It's just part of the job.
Just all, yeah.
I mean, the gang rides out.
My God, it's the third of the month.
We did get healing, so they're kind of dissipating. And
the new gods start to emerge and things become normal-ish after a couple of months of absolute hell. Not years.
The idea of the new gods, I think the image in my head is that we believed our gods dead, and perhaps they were, but they were energy. And you can't destroy energy. It only changes forms. And eventually our gods begin to recoalesce. And I think maybe they reform, and it's Lotix as we knew them, but different, perhaps with different aspects. And I think we all have to wonder, maybe it's a question for the philosophers and our theologians, but has the cycle merely started again?
Yeah.
I love that as like an ending note of like the ones that we knew, the Pantheon, the Arete Pantheon is back, but different. And there's questions of, are we just in a cycle of linking the first fire? No. But no, I love that.
Gonna be pawns called to the battlefield again, getting too old for this shit.
I mean, probably. I wonder what death looks like when you're half skeletal and wreathed in flames. Like
that's true. I guess that's something we didn't really address. Did that ever start healing?
I think that probably begins to heal.
Yeah.
And eventually those flames dissipate.
Yeah. And then next time we ride, let's see.
Let's awesome. Roll. Cool. 1 to 4.
Cool. So I guess that's Lordsworn, huh?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. That's the epilogue. That's the wrap up.
Oh man,
that was really fun.
That was a lot of fun. That was really cool.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for putting this game together. This whole session and everything. This was a lot of fun. R.I.P. to who we lose here: Bertwald, Collard, Wolfred, Cedric, Darren, and Domination.
Yeah,
is that everyone?
Yeah.
Yep.
Or some out for your homies.
Yeah. Well, good job, guys, on the game well played and on surviving the apocalypse.
Absolutely.
That was pretty damn cool.
For sure.
Yeah.
Before we go,
I got a little close.
Sorry, I just want to say before we go, if people want to see more stuff about Lordsworn, what's the best way for them to take a look at things?
That's a good question. I would say probably your best bet. No, I should have had all this prepared. I would say on Marren's Musings everywhere.
Sure.
So Twitter, Blue Skies, Twitter, where it's at. Itch is probably the best place. If you follow me there, you'll get notified when the game goes out and digital coming soon. TM.
Yeah.
That'd be a good way to do it. And yeah, I think that's probably the best bets.
Perfect. Yeah, we'll make sure we include all the links down
Yeah.
below, so if people do want to see it, hit the read more, expand it, look at it, read it, click the buttons, and you can make sure you stay up to date. But yeah, huge thank you for doing this again. It was super fun. You're welcome back anytime. If you ever want to do this again, for sure. We're game.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for having me, guys. That was great.
Excellent. Yeah. Thank you very much. And for everybody who joined, thanks for watching. Check out our other stuff. Check out more of their stuff. There's lots of stuff to look at. But otherwise, thanks for watching. So much stuff. All right.
So much stuff.
Take
All
care,
right, everyone.
everybody.
Thank you so much.